Offline stream complete. Fuck you.
What?
Yeah, you went off. You went offline a while ago.
Oh
According to YouTube,
no.
thanks for tuning in. Stream ended 41 seconds ago.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
That's it. Give up.
YouTuber.
Wow.
Oh man.
Uh,
This is simple too. This is just trying to capture a window. Imagine like what I do on a daily basis, which is trying to capture consoles through like capture cards and all this other fun stuff. And
oh my god.
out of nowhere,
I'm
console
embarrassing myself
Oh,
in front of my
shit.
23-person audience.
17 now.
Yeah, that makes sense. What is this shit? God fucking damn it. I'm so pissed.
It's like it's such an apathetic rage. I love it.
Oh, is it working now?
I can see like a YouTube page on the YouTube page. I should probably rephrase that.
All right.
I can I can.
Oh yeah, it's streaming Infinity YouTube now. That's
Yeah.
great. That is great. Can you guys hear us?
Streaming what?
Yo guys, can you hear us?
Oh god.
It finally
Oh, there
happened. There we have Infinity YouTube. This is the stream.
Oh my
What did you
god.
do?
I
It just
don't-
keeps going. This is borderline experiment.
Yeah. Okay.
Welcome
well,
to the YouTube
here,
live
l-
stream on
let me
YouTube.
fix it real quick. HMS Foraker by Paul Wang. This is the best. This is going to be the best stream ever. Nothing
not to
nothing could possibly go wrong. The precedent has not already been set. Oh dear God.
I'm so ready for this.
Uh,
This is going to be an interesting stream, isn't it?
I'm.
it's
pumped.
it's probably not. But basic, I don't know. Okay, so hold on. Let me just get in character. Hi everyone, welcome to my choice of game stream. With me, I have my boy Beam Mask,
Yo.
and my other boy Dallaro.
What's going on, guys?
All right, and yeah, I don't know. I got interested in interactive fiction again for some reason. Basically, I don't know. I got fielded a few questions about this on Twitter because people are like, "Oh, he's the literature guy. Let's ask him about everything that is distinctly not literature." So yeah. But I like choice of games. I actually like discovered these people I think back in 2012 for the most furry reason ever. I typed in dragon into the app store on my new iPhone and discovered that they make choose your own adventure text games, but smartly they didn't print them as novels. So you don't have to be like, turn to page 17 to make this decision. But whatever. So you just choose from a drop down menu. So
That brings
yeah.
back so many memories of reading Goosebumps as a kid. Those things
Yeah,
were
those
all the
things,
rage
yeah.
growing up.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I never read
I'm gonna go back
Goosebumps.
to a couple of those.
I only read the actual like choose your own adventure. I was the OG choose your own adventure books.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, and also I think there was a collection called Dragonology Pocket Adventures. If you're a fan of the Dragonology like faux textbook series, they came up with
Was that those big $60 like
yeah.
dragon books that like
yeah,
you would
at-
always
at-
get your parents to buy
Yeah,
begrudgingly?
you'd get them to buy it for you as like a Christmas present or whatever, and then it'd just be this huge like parody textbook full of like illustrations of dragons and descriptions of their habitats and where on the world they are. But the at some point they came out with Pocket Adventures, and those things were just great because every choice leads to death. So it's like
As Encounters with Dragons should.
Funnily
yeah.
enough, Goosebumps had a Choose Your Way adventure series of books at one point as well. They sort of
yeah,
blended those two genres together.
yeah.
That was,
So
Yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier.
Oh, that was sorry. I thought you meant yeah. Damn
you,
it.
you can tell we don't have a script.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna get started.
Or
I'm
do
gonna
we?
click next.
Oh.
So just like every piece of great fiction, This starts off with an epitaph. Is that the right word?
Oh,
Epitaph?
good.
I don't have to point out that any ambitious young officer would jump at the chance of serving in a frigate. A fake quote by a fake person. So, Mr. Midshipman Hornblower. Very real name
Wow.
right there. The year is
Yes, I
80.
am.
The year is 1830. We can take turns reading if you want, but
Oh, my favorite
I
year.
will start. The year is 1813. In a world much like our own, in a far corner of the world, the crew of an Albion Royal Navy frigate closes in on their quarry. They are about
Sick.
They are about to make their mark on history. This is
Sick.
their story.
Sick.
Sick.
Okay, I'm in. I'm
You're in?
sold.
You're sold?
Yes.
Prologue.
Yeah.
They've added
Oh,
little
never
like,
mind.
artistic cards. What?
Oh boy.
What?
Too many words.
I'll just read them. Okay, so March 29th, 1813. The shot from the 4 Acres bow chaser smashes into the Columbian brig's foremast in a cloud of splinters. With a slow inevitability and a shriek of tortured timber, it comes down in a tangle of lines, canvas, and shattered oak. A cheer rises from the crew as they see their quarry stricken. Beside you on the quarterdeck, your third lieutenant grins with evident satisfaction. They might as well strike now and save us the trouble, Captain. Alas, the Columbian captain proves less than considerate in that regard. Can I just say I hate that sentence? I just because it has two things. Like, you know, the two things that I like are being clear and concise, and the thing that I hate about
This is neither of those.
well, it's like it is just a short sentence, but I hate it when to describe something you say the opposite, but say it's less than that. So it's like,
Yes.
you know, the man was rude. No, the man was less than polite. It's like it's
Oh,
like
that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then in that regard, it's like you don't need whatever. So 0 out of 10, hate it. The sun and stripes of the United Republics continue to flutter stubbornly from the vessel's remaining mast. However, the Colombians' famed what? Intransigence can
Wow.
make little
I'm looking
difference
that
now. Not with one of the brig's masts shot away, and a fully armed and fully crewed frigate of Albion Royal Navy in full pursuit. Your officers look to you expectantly for orders. The day is yours. The only question is, how do you mean to seize it? And we have 3 choices. Let us see if a broadside cannot convince them to strike. It would be easy enough to outmaneuver them now. Best we get to point, make ready to board. So what kind of captain do we want to be? Do we want to be one that just shoots from cannons, that is like,
So-
tricky, let's outsteer them on this open ocean in a huge fucking boat? Or smash into their sides and board them? I'm game for smash into their sides and board them.
I'm pretty. Yeah, I was leaning pretty heavily towards
I feel like there's a
fucking
very
do it.
I feel like there's a very clear correct answer because one of these one of these options is just more fun.
I was gonna say my option, but right now it's outweighed 2 to 1. So
Oh, no, no, what do you
oh,
think?
what
Make
was
ready
your
to
option?
board. I was
This
gonna
is-
go with
that's our
with
option.
the outmaneuver them.
Oh right, yeah. You want to be
This
you
is
wanna...
this is a democratic ship. We could debate the merit
Well,
of
in a
the
democracy,
outcome.
I already lost. I'm the minority right now.
Yes.
No. You can change my mind. You can change my mind.
No, you can't. We're on the internet.
We've got the bigger ship, and they're smaller and broken.
Yeah, something like that. But no, we're making ready to board.
Oh, there we go. Oh, it's a mutiny. He's taking control.
The crew raises a thunderous cheer when you make your intentions known. Their stamping feet make the deck quiver under you. The normally when I read about something quivering under me, it's not in this context.
I think he's making up for the fact that his name is Paul Wang. It's sort of like I gotta compensate somehow.
If the author ever gets scared, is he a quivering wang?
Nice. We're already
like,
there. We don't even
Some
need
girl
alcohol.
told him that, and he's like, "That's it."
You brought us here with the fucking shit show of a start to this with the technical difficulties. We were already in this mindset.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Sorry, guys.
Standard has been set.
The service has always encouraged a certain level of aggression and loyalty among its crews, but the enthusiasm with which the Foraker's company all but fight amongst each other to join Captain Mercer's half company of red-coated Marines belies a level of spirit few crews, even Royal Navy crews, could boast. That sentence was so weird.
What?
Let me read it again. The service has already encouraged a certain level of aggression and loyalty among its crews, but the enthusiasm with which the Foraker's company all but fight amongst each other to join Captain Mercer's half company of red-coated Marines belies a level of spirit few crews, even Royal Navy crews, could boast. I understand
There's
it now.
way too many. Way too
Wow,
many.
That is
You could have cut that sentence in half.
Way too many dashes in that. We
If
don't
not
need any of
more.
those.
Dash semicolon. As expected, of course, my leadership has made them devoted to me. Foraker's crew has always been spirited, a blessing as my own talents lie elsewhere. So, do you want to be a strong leader? No. I don't want to be a strong leader. I'm not a strong leader in real life, as evidenced by this stream.
I don't really know if it's saying we're not a strong leader in the second sentence, but I'm not sure if I'm
What?
sure of what
Nah,
the second
we're a
sentence
strong
wants me to
leader. We're
be.
that good. We're that good. We're a strong leader.
We're a strong
All
leader.
right.
We
Let's do
are.
it.
Yeah, leadership
Hey.
is our forte.
Hey, fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah, I dig it.
Oh yeah, and there's a stats screen. So we actually, we got plus.
Oh, what?
We got plus 25% to
Oh.
leadership. Captain's record. Captain, none
Oh, snap.
commandeering. Condition of ship and company as of okay. Ship's company.
Interesting.
Huh. Yeah.
So this
So
might actually. So,
Oh, so we actually,
affect what happens later.
yeah, we're actually responsible for a whole bunch of other guys. So
Oh no.
yeah, they've gamified literature is what they've done.
Yay.
Get extra credits on that one. A renewed cheer rises as you step down from the quarterdeck to join the boarding party. Foraker's company had not been particularly loyal when you had taken command, but over the months your knack for leadership had become known by knowing when to punish, when to reward, and when to make those grand gestures of leadership which stories are made of. You have managed to win their admiration, if not their love. Gay.
Aw.
A year ago,
Sorry.
Foraker's crew would have not given you a second thought. Now they will gladly die for you. Well,
Fuck.
Wow, we are the leader of the thing.
But at what cost?
At what cost? But the time for such reminisce is past. Now is the time for action. You head amidships to join the boarding party. Sailors and Marines parting before you as you make your way to the fore. I shall
Shouldn't
lead the...
amidships? Is that one word? Is that one? Or is that just like nautical nonsense? Did they just?
I think it's nautical nonsense, but it's probably a real word. I shall lead the way as a befitting gentleman officer of the King's Navy. I shall take the lead as a befitting gentlewoman officer of the Queen's Navy.
I see what
so-
they're doing here.
Are you
So-
a boy or a girl?
So choice of
Pokemon.
so choice of games is all about like diverse representation, which I love, but they do it in this like really quirky way. Where, you know, every single one of their characters is like, you know, you can change their gender at some point or whatever. But basically, in this game in particular, if you want to play as a woman, it actually changes the entire society you're in, so that men are the stay-at-home people and the women go out on
Oh.
adventures. And so you're in an entire navy that's just completely staffed by women, and it's that kind of creative thing that, like, you know, you're like, that's actually quite fun. But yeah, so you can. So do we want to do we want to like?
Apparently, the entire chat wants us to go with option number 2.
Well,
I think we might as well give us
go with the all woman
interesting
navy.
I'm very sure that Paul Wang understands women. Better than most. Very curious to see his perspective.
I'm sure Wang is very intimately knows women very intimately.
Oh, yes.
Wang fellow.
Yes, he's,
Oh
he's had many
no.
shipmates over the years. So.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
That joke wasn't sexist, but I think it was actually racist because Wang
Oh.
is an Asian surname.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
No, my joke's just juvenile because I'm making a dick joke.
Yeah, I know, but
Well,
yeah,
that's what I thought we were going for. So.
I know, but that you're a racist, Deliro.
Okay, all right, fine. I won't handle Wang anymore.
Oh dear.
It's out of our hands.
Yeah, this is now turned into the best stream on YouTube. Okay. Naturally, as a Queen's officer and as the ship's captain besides, you must show your bravery, lest the women of your crew think you unsuited for leadership. The question is, do you mean to stay in the midst of the fighting when the cutlasses are drawn and the battle is joined? Our options are, of course, honor would demand nothing less. I aim for a middle course, keep my options open. It is wiser, not to mention safer, to stay in the rear. Oh man,
Nah.
if we
Coward's way.
if we had picked the male option, the third would be such an innuendo. But now that we're a woman, we can't. Us three lads, we are a woman now.
That's
Oh,
a very
dear.
interesting sort of Power Ranger situation. Just three guys piloting the body of this,
Oh no, no!
like Muppet Man or something. Trying
Oh
to.
dear. Damn. Well, do we want to be a sword swinging, swashbuckling lady captain, or do we want to
Yeah, man.
be
I'm not gonna lie, I like the image.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it does, and so you do. What? Okay. Because
Literature Bird, can you break that down?
No, okay. I realize it's actually following on from the sentence that we picked in our option. So honor would demand nothing less. So it does, and so you do. When Foraker grinds up against his quarry with a shuddering crash. The ship is male because the crew are women. So all the ships are now he's.
So would it have been the other way?
Yeah,
then, if
because
we chose
how in real life how like they always call they always refer to ships by female pronouns.
Yes.
Yeah. So now because we're a navy of women, the ships are
Oh, they're all male
Yeah,
named.
yeah.
That's hilarious.
With a shuddering crash, you are the first Albionian. Oh, is this set in fucking Fable
Sure.
in Albion? Some shit. To set foot on the Columbian's deck, sword in hand and a battle cry on your lips. Captain Mercer and her marines are right behind you, their scarlet coats bright in the cold sun as their leader, 20 stone of muscle and fury, leaps across with all the grace of a ballerina.
All right then. What if we would have got the same line?
I mean, men can be ballerinas too. I was a ballerina.
Really?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, British person and British conquered person.
From the
20 stone.
from the age of 14 to 17, I did ballet. Whatever. Colombians charge in from the left and right, brandishing pistols and blades of their own. It appears the enemy wishes to make a fight of it. So much the better. I am a dab hand with sword and pistol. No worry, I am quite capable of defending myself. Or, I'd best be careful, personal combat is not my strong suit.
No, man.
yeah,
Do it to him.
Sword swinging, swashbuckling lady captain. Hey. With deft precision, you bring your pistol to bear on the nearest Colombian and calmly empty it into her face. Without breaking step, you batter... What?
Damn.
Right. Violence against women. Without breaking step... Yeah, we've actually misstepped, I think. No.
Oh, yeah.
You
No,
batter
could you imagine if we chose male, it would have been you bring your pistol to bear on the nearest Colombian and calmly empty it into his face. That would have sounded much worse.
Oh no. Paul Wang, how could you?
I'm sure a woman could manage it if you gave
Oh
them the
no,
right
yeah.
tools.
I'm not. Obviously, women can fire guns.
No. I meant in terms of the
Mm.
interpretation you were going for with a man. I'm sure that we could stretch it to, but
Oh,
it's semantics for for a whole other situation entirely.
Another more NSFW pod. Description.
implying that this is actually a respectful and dignified stream where we don't. I don't know. I think I've given up. but
No, that's fine.
whatever. Without breaking step, you batter aside
Not drunk.
batter aside the blade of a second foe with your own before slamming the brass guard of your fighting sword into her stomach, sending her tumbling backwards. Ugh. You know,
Man.
well, there are few women who could honestly boast that they are as skilled in a fight as they are brave. You are one of them. Stroke my ego more, why don't you, game? Okay. Yeah, I will be the strongest and fightiest of women. Before you can finish your stricken foe, a third assailant tries her luck, taking aim with a heavy pistol. Yet before you can even react, a giant in a scarlet coat sweeps the unfortunate Colombian off her feet with such force that she tumbles over the side, her weapon discharging harmlessly into the air. Captain
See, that's an
Mercer-
interesting. Oh, sorry.
What?
I was just gonna say that's an interesting turn of phrase because that is normally, relegated purely in a romantic sense, not in a like when you sweep someone off their feet. It tends to be like a
right, yeah.
yeah. So it's interesting. There's a lot of mixed sort of uses of,
I mean,
of terms in here.
it might be intentional just because this is going for like that, romantic like
Yeah.
seafaring adventure type stuff.
That's true.
Yeah, so
And maybe the name is a pseudonym. Maybe this is maybe there's a a very particular bent, shall we say, that we're picking up on here. I don't know if it's entirely just us.
I don't know, maybe it might just be that we're
Hmm.
awful, or more specifically,
Maybe.
I'm awful and I'm dragging you both down with me.
Well, I think you have to be pretty self-aware to start talking about emptying a load in someone's face.
God. Yeah. Okay, Captain Mercer turns towards you and touches the brim of her hat in a quick salute before turning back into the fray. Okay.
Oh, good. More choices.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure this is where we choose our name. The fight is
Nice.
sharp, but it does not last long. Foraker's company outnumbers the Colombians by 3-1, and before long, the enemy crew are dropping their weapons to the deck and putting their hands up in surrender. At long last, the Sun and Stripes is hauled down from the foremast, and the Royal Jack of Albion raised in its place. A figure emerges from the Colombian crew, a tall, spare woman, perhaps a few years younger than you, clad in a blue coat and not much unlike your own. Upon
Oh,
her
they did the
right...
thing again.
Huh?
The negatives with the not much or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Right there. Upon her right shoulder hangs the single epaulet of that word is appalling, of a master commandant, the Colombian equivalent of a Royal Navy commander. I have the honor to be Captain Jacobs, United Republics Navy, commanding the URS Cordial, she announces in a flat, broad New Lancaster accent. New Lancaster.
New
Hey,
Lancaster.
yeah, hey,
is
B-Mask, you're a Brit.
Well, I know of Lancaster. I don't know of New Lancaster.
No, this is meant to be an alternate universe version of England. So
Oh.
we're counting on you to pick up on all the ways they're parodying your home country.
It's a little more to the side of parallel. Even I'm not even sure exactly what they're going for.
Actually, as she takes her sword and offers it to you, I surrender my ship and crew and offer you my parole. You reach for the sword, and as your hand closes around its hilt, you hear the voices of your own crew rise up behind you. 3 cheers for Captain Baker, Brown, Harrington, Ramsey, Smithy. I don't like any of those names. 3 cheers for
I'm kinda
Captain I
digging
don't like any
Ramsey.
of those names.
Yeah, I'm down with Ramsey as well.
Well, we can come up with our own name if we pick this. So
Oh, God.
like we can come up
Hold
without
on. No. Hold on. I got a perfect idea.
what?
Let chat decide.
Oh,
Oh,
no!
yeah, that's perfect. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Chat, what do
Hold
we
on,
call it?
chat. What's our name? What is our name, chat?
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna have to because the has got a delay. We're probably gonna have to wait on it. But like, yeah,
That's
Yeah.
fine.
but we're
Gives more time
we're
for names
counting
to
on
come in.
chat to come up with the most on the nose euphemism ever. That could still
All I'm
Oh,
seeing
be a
is
reasonable name.
Captain Dinglebottom,
Oh
Bob.
God, that's a
Bob.
little bit too on the nose.
Spoofle
Cap-
Anthony's fucking hell, Loxia. What do you come into the stream and you fucking
Captain Cuckooay. Captain Reed. Captain Planet.
Captain
Oh.
Planet.
That was pretty good. I like that. Captain Planet's getting another vote.
Captain Black's pretty great.
Captain Pigget.
Oh, Pigot's a fun one.
Pigget.
Six Boo.
That's gotta be a not US thing. What's that?
Oh, I like Beardy Bunch.
Captain Beardy Bunch.
Captain Spooner Briggs.
I'm just gonna go ahead and go to what is your name, Captain?
Don't like this one either.
I don't like this one.
Captain, I don't like this one.
I do like Planet. I do think Captain Planet's a fun. Ted
Captain-
Turner,
What
obviously.
about Captain
infiltrating the
X?
stream.
What about just Captain X?
Yeah,
Oh,
that
come
could,
on,
like
we're
like
not-
the
we're not
chromosome.
13.
Oh, like the chromosome. Oh, that's not my intention.
Just to
but-
really hammer it home.
What does it look like the chat
Captain
wants?
Lord Knight Hearthenwing the Third Esquire.
I like his style. BlackRock 215.
Hey, BMAS, can you read the one by Romo and Victa?
Romo and Victor. Where are they?
Right above Captain Carnal.
Oh, right about Captain Cardle.
Connell.
Oh dang! Why can I not see this?
Underneath, it's underneath. Don't like this one either.
Oh, my eyes are screwed up. Okay, what was it? Captain Spooner Briggs,
Next one.
Beardy Bunch.
No, you're going the other way.
Oh no, okay, the way. Captain Britnob,
Captain Britnell.
Captain Carnal.
What does
Captain
it look like?
Chromosome,
What does it look like?
Captain
What does it look like the chat wants? Oh, are they just coming up with a whole bunch of new
I've
names?
seen 2 for Captain Planet. That's the most I've seen so
Yeah,
far.
Captain
Yeah.
Planet has the
Planet.
most votes. I do like
So
those
far.
like stupid parody British surnames though. But
Britnob is fun.
Planet. Fucking Planet Knob. How about that? Captain Planet Knob.
That's the compromise.
There you go.
Okay, we are Captain Planet Knob. I'm.
No, hold on, hold on,
This
before you
is
finish it,
terrible. What?
Put a E with the little line over it.
Planet Nobbe.
Captain Planet Nobe. Oh God.
Oh, good. 3 cheers for Captain Planet Obey.
Oh God, I'm dying.
Oh, we're
Oh
killing
God,
it.
he's caught
At
skirt.
last.
Oh dear. 3 cheers for Platinum Cannon. I shouldn't be finding it this funny.
That's gonna
Um,
that's gonna
would it
make singing Happy Birthday a bit of a chore.
3 cheers for. I'm never gonna get through this now.
How exhilarating it is to be cheered. One can barely resist cheering with them.
I
It's
don't
one-
know.
It's sorry.
I don't like the because we're the captain, so yeah, it's cool that we took over. But I think if we cheer with them at that same level, it'll make us look kind of.
Yeah, conceited. Like it's a little much.
Because how egotistical is it to cheer for your own achievements?
Yeah, just Captain.
I did it.
Just
I'm
Captain.
the best.
Just Captain Planet Nobe saying 3 cheers for Captain Planet Nobe.
I think 2 is a good
2?
compromise there.
It's wonderful
Yeah.
to be cheered, though I mustn't seem too moved. We're a stoic motherfucker.
Give a little smile and nod.
Oh God.
Yeah, nothing too crazy.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
It is certainly no small thing to win the affection of your crew, and your heart cannot help but lift at the level of admiration which you are now subject to. It's ending the sentence with a verb there. I love it. No, sorry. Whatever. I've preposition. I don't care. but it would. It's too early for this. But it would not do to make too much fuss of it. You grin, of course, and nod back to show that such gestures are appreciated, but no more. Any more would give the impression that you lack composure, or worse yet, that you seek attention and adulation to an uncouth degree. So
That's
you keep
exactly
your.
what I was trying to avoid.
Aww. So, you keep your expression fixed and offer no greater outpouring of emotion than a knowing, imperious smile. But your crew has no such restrictions. Huzzah! Foreka's company shouts with nary a doubt for reservation. Huzzah! They shout until your ears ring with the sound of their voices. Huzzah! Yet soon enough the cheers fade and the reality of the situation asserts itself. I always hate the reality of the situation. But whatever. There is work to be done. Foreka took a little damage in the late engagement, but the same cannot be said of the cordial. Excuse me. Through the United Republics of Columbia's. Is that meant to be United Republic of Colombia?
Oh no, because maybe
Well,
it's several
computers.
republics. Maybe it's more.
Several republics.
Yeah, that have come together. There's a
All
lot
right.
of there's a lot of that going on in shanty times. So
Okay.
Oh, hey, chat's asking if we can maybe make the thing a bit bigger.
yeah, that could be good if it's possible.
Share this game with
Because I
friends.
think most of this game seems to take place in like this, basically like 8.5 by 11 paper size on
Yeah.
screen. So you could probably.
This is the best
out the
menu
size.
ever. Look at this.
Oh, that is
L-
good.
Look at how I'm
Bigger.
making the text bigger. It's
Bigger.
all it's all it's all in the same interface and same UI. So like you choose from a drop down menu to every single time you want to up the text size. It's
Oh,
great.
nice.
I love it.
I want to write something like this. This is neat.
You can.
hey,
They've actually published their engine, and you can write your own stories.
Oh,
Nice.
I might do that.
I tried doing that way back in the day,
Oh my
and
God. No,
there
no,
was
no, no,
there's
no.
actually
I
a
got an
really
idea.
there's a cool community that makes mods to the engine. So like I actually asked at some point, oh, how do you have multiple stat screens? And somebody actually made a mod for it, just for me that had
Ah.
multiple stat screens, and I never ended up publishing that story because I was in school at the time, and I just fucking ran out of energy and time and wanted to just play video games instead. But like, yeah, it's got a pretty cool community, and they even host fan made games on their website. So
Oh, nice.
that they won't charge anybody for it, as far as I know. Like the fan games are free to access, but they still will happily host them on their website and let people play them from the website. It's great.
Ah.
Yeah. So the same
would be
cannot be
great.
said of the cordial. Though the United Republics of Colombia's navy keeps its ships and crews almost as well run and well maintained as Albion's, the boarding action has not treated the Colombian vessel kindly. Decks that were once neatly holystoned. Is that a thing?
I have no idea.
Dalaro,
I'm
can
not a
you look
pirate.
up holystone and see if it comes up with
Sure.
something?
I wish
I'm
I was
now-
holy stoned right now. Jesus.
Are now awash
Womp
with
womp.
awash with blood and strewn with corpses, and the crushed tangle of the cordial's foremast as yet floats uselessly alongside him. The rest of the day is spent in furious labor. The dead are wrapped in canvas, weighted with shot, and consigned to the sea. Down to, what would you say,
Here we go.
Denise Jones's locker.
Wait, are you serious?
No, I
come on.
added that last thing to the,
Okay,
to
Oh,
the
right.
ending,
I
yeah.
was looking for Holy Stone, so all I heard was Denise Jones' locker.
Denise Jones's locker. It's just like
Jesus.
what's the
By the way-
because this universe would have to have a woman version of Davy Jones, right?
Yeah, guess now, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
The wounded are given a far worse fate. Treatment at the hands of the Foreka's surgeon. The screams of the Sawbones' victims become a constant as Cordial and Foreka's crews work side by side to put the Colombian ship to rights. Their jobs made easier by their shared language and similar professional culture.
Is it not Foraker?
Foraker? Foraker?
I thought it.
I'm Australian,
yeah, I think.
so I pronounce everything badly.
Yeah, Foraker. Yeah, Foraker's definitely an Australian. It's got a nice twang to it. So.
Foraker. So
Foraker.
so how do I work this into a fucking Strine parody? Hey, Bruce, get Sheila, come down to the Billabong. We're gonna take the Foraker down,
God.
and we're gonna ship it.
That's like the most Australian I've ever heard you.
I've practiced my fake Australian accent a lot.
Oh, with real Australians, you've studied them like De Niro, gone out and.
No, I've literally just studied parodies of the Australian accent.
Yeah.
No, now I have to
You've seen that
scroll.
Michael Cusack one, right?
What?
No.
Michael Cusack, he's an animator on YouTube. He has this thing. I think the video is called Chucker in the Ute.
Chucker in the
And it's
Ute? What?
And it's exactly what you think it is.
Oh no.
Oh no. Have you seen
Like,
that?
it was
Have
what
you
you
seen that
just did with your
animation, Deadliest Animals on the Planet or whatever? Basically, the entire song it's set up to be like, you know, they're singing about all the deadly animals in Australia, but then the chorus comes and it's like, but at least we don't have AR-15s, and it's just this whole diss against the United States' like lax gun laws. It's great.
Yeah.
I saw this video lately that was by this comedy group where they're doing immigration questions for these two British guys coming in, and when they pass at the very end, they're like, "Congratulations, welcome to America," and shakes their hands, and he kind of like body blocks the camera for a second, and when he backs up from the handshake, he hands them a gun.
Oh.
Nice.
He's like, "Look, welcome to America, gun."
Oh yeah.
By the way,
Should we continue with this or do we do it? Yeah. I actually want to see what the stats screen is like.
Sandstone.
Captain Planet Nobe commanding. So we're good at leadership and we're good at fighting. We are very gallant.
Very gallant.
They're very gallant, and we have a 50-50 split on sensibility and composure.
Oh no.
Okay, not bad.
Finally, as the sun begins to set, Cordial's lost foremast is cut away, his deck is scrubbed to standard, and he is at last ready to take on a prize crew and make the long trip north to your base in Ismay. What's Ismay a parody of?
Does that
Ishmael.
exist?
I don't know, whatever. The only question is, how large of a prize crew do you mean to put aboard her? While Foraker's crew is almost at full strength, you certainly mean to take other prizes before you return to port, and every trained gunner or top woman assigned to keep an eye on the Cordial is another which you cannot put aboard some rich merchant woman worth 10 times a naval brigand prize money.
I see.
Yeah.
So they're basically asking us how we're going to divvy the crew between our ship for future raids and making sure the Cordial doesn't turn tail and fight us or leave.
Yeah. Then again, while the Cordial's captain has given her parole, the Colombians do possess a strong reputation for perfidy. Dallaro, can you look that up?
They're making that up.
That's a little bit more than per 40.
Perfidy.
Perfidy. Noun, deceitfulness or untrustworthiness.
No.
Alright.
This is a ruse.
They'd
We're
not
learning so many
shown.
words today.
Yeah. They'd not shown much respect for the laws and customs of war when they had fought for their independence from Albion. Oh, we're the big bad empire. Oh no. And they have certainly shown no signs of improving their behavior in the 40 years since. If their skirmishes with the pirates of Sara or their depredations against the Ghoulish were any demonstration. Gaulish.
Oh, the Gaulish would be like the Asterix and Obelix. They'd be the Gauls basically.
Yeah. Then again, perhaps you are merely worrying over nothing and casting aspersions on the honor of a perfectly upright officer. Perhaps.
This totally won't
So-
come back later. This will never.
So, no, never. These choice of games, choices don't matter in these games. Never in all my life.
No,
Although-
all these worries you're having about very specific types of enemies, they're not gonna. This is not gonna come. up again.
Although, dude, since you
That'd be
mentioned
silly.
Asterix, I actually have a story about Asterix from when I was 10 years
Oh.
old.
Do go ahead.
So I forget which issue of Asterix this is, but in one of the versions where there's like a scene that's intercut with other scenes of in the book of it's basically a bunch of Romans getting together to have a quote orgy unquote. But it's got nothing to do with sex. What it is actually I don't think maybe Romans, maybe it was some French people, but basically what they were doing is they were getting together to have a party where they all dip pieces of bread in melted cheese and eat it, and they called it an orgy. And as an adult, I know that, I know that the joke is that the Romans or the French or the Italians or the French, whoever, they love cheese so much that a party where they all get together to eat cheese is an orgy to them. You know,
Yeah, just because it's like a
Yeah.
gastronomical orgy of sorts,
yeah. But when I was 10 years old, I didn't know what an orgy was. And so when I saw that they were eating cheese, having a party where they ate melted cheese from bread and they called it an orgy, I thought that's what an orgy was. I thought an orgy is a party where you all get together to eat cheese fondue. But
You must have been
so
confused the
one
first
day
time.
I said to my mum,
Oh,
"Hey
no.
mum, we should get
no.
all of our family and cousins together
Oh,
and have a
God,
great
no,
big
no.
orgy." And she looked at me in horror and was like, "What? Where did you learn what an orgy was?" And I was so confused. I showed her the Asterix novel and she breathed this huge sigh of relief and was like, "Okay, Nicholas, that's not what an orgy is." And I was like, "Oh, what's an orgy?"
What's an orgy?
And she said, "A party where lots of people get together to have sex." And
so she told you.
I was so like I was like so embarrassed that I had suggested that we get
I love
our
that she was upfront with you about the truth, though. She didn't
Yeah,
hide
right?
it. Yeah.
Oh, well, I knew what sex was by that age. I mean,
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. I think,
That's still funny.
yeah, it
It's
is
like,
pretty funny.
We should get all our family and all our cousins together for a great big orgy.
You can imagine this being suggested by a smiling, beaming 10-year-old. Oh my god, it was the worst. Oh, but yeah, that did happen to me once.
That's even better than I imagined. I thought for sure you were going to turn that into. So the one time I got invited to an orgy, I brought cheese and everyone was confused.
Oh, yeah.
I left very hungry that night.
I mean, like to be fair, well, okay, I wouldn't bring
Way too much
cheese because
sausage for the cheese you brought.
I'm a vegan, so I wouldn't bring cheese. But I would be the kind of guy who would just like cook something up and just bring it to an orgy and be like, "Hey guys, I brought some food."
Guys,
That-
look, it's
that-
hummus time.
Yeah, I brought some hummus and dip for the orgy. It's like, oh, do you have a food fetish? No, I just thought I'd be considerate.
Not gonna lie, if I got invited to an orgy and I was told, by the way, besides the sex, after there's going to be snacks, I'd go.
Yeah, that would be the
Tyra.
deciding factor. That
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
the right. This goes from a maybe to a yes.
Man, that syphilis is so worth it because of the snacks. All
Syphilis,
right.
as we all know, was a great Asterix character. He was always getting into
Wallows, weirdly enough.
Oh god, I've got an illness at the moment, and you're making me laugh, and it's causing
sorry.
it's causing me more pain.
but not as much pain as syphilis was in.
Oh, okay, we've gotten sidetracked a lot. So what were we
How many
doing?
people were
We
gonna
we
get
were
it?
deciding how to divvy up the crew, right? Weren't we?
Yeah, we were kind of having a reverie in the middle of
Right.
middle of travel.
I'd say moderate, just because if we give them too small, they can easily take them over, kill them, and go about their way.
Yeah, I go for that.
yeah. Or we could take no chances. I
But
cannot
then that
spare
leaves us
yeah.
with fuck all.
But it means that their ship, if they mutiny, our gals are already there to put them in their place or whatever. I don't know.
Bonesaw part of their crew too. They can't
No,
be that big.
the bone saw
We
was
killed
part of
them.
our crew. That's our surgeon.
Yeah, we bonesawed their crew trying to quote unquote help them.
Yeah. Just a moderate sized
moderate.
prize crew then.
Yeah, go for that.
All right.
Hopefully it
Yes,
doesn't come out to bite us in the
perhaps
butt.
the course of moderation would be wisest. It is only the work of a few minutes to pick out the members of the prize crew and assign Callaghan, your third lieutenant, to command it. As the cordial ships away in the dim light of evening, the mood on board the Foraker is jubilant. It is a rare thing to take a prize so early on a cruise, and rarer yet to take an enemy warship with only minimal loss. Yet as you stride the quarterback in the lantern-lit gloom, you spot your first lieutenant peering at the cordial's retreating form from the stern rail, and looking far from content. Who is your first lieutenant, by the way?
Huh.
all of that detail. That's what they want us to.
Yeah. Our lieutenant is Lieutenant Fisher, an army captain's eldest with the common touch. Lieutenant Simpson, a colonial with a talent for navigation. Lieutenant Shannon, one of the most brilliant gunners you have ever known. Lieutenant Pakenham, one of the most well-connected women in the service. Pakenham is a fucking suburb in my city.
That's funny.
They're onto you.
I
So,
mean,
we have
I
someone-
mean,
What
suburbs
the
and
hell's
places
common
are.
touch?
It means they can sympathize with the common folk or whatever.
Well,
I
I think given we're a swashbuck.
They come from a common folk
Yeah.
background.
Well, I just think because we've got a swashbuckling, very sort of go-getter lead, then maybe we need someone who's a bit more reserved as our number two, someone who does all the thinking for us.
Right.
Or someone who can get us in. I really like the
That's true.
well-connected women. I like having the friends in high places when even if we're kind of a bastard, we have people who can get us out.
Yeah, that seems
Yeah,
really good.
That's a really good.
But that kind of takes
Go
away
for it.
from the underdog narrative of our story. That
I
we
think
don't-
the
that
minute we
that
became
we don't
a-
have
Nothing.
yet.
We're kicking
We
ass
st-
and
we-
taking names.
Yeah.
That's the important part.
Yeah, basically. Okay,
'Cause
packing
who's going
them
to
then.
arrest us if we're? I'd say because I think of it like this: who's going to arrest us if we know someone who's best friends with like the police chief in a town or something?
I'm friend of a friend of the Queen. Her Majesty.
Well, in this era, given the people we'd be rubbing shoulders with, probably not far from the truth.
That's probably true. Yeah. All right, Pakenham it is then.
I'm down for backing him.
Done. Also, Pakenham's a cool name.
Yeah. I've never been to the suburb though. I just know it because it's at the end
Oh,
of a
damn.
line, so it's all like you
Yeah.
take the Pakenham train to wherever.
I want you to read this pedigree because I think we made a good choice with this.
Does somebody else want to take over the narration? Because my throat's starting to get sore.
I can. Okay, go for it.
BMAS, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's fine.
All right. You suppose Lieutenant Pakenham is competent enough, all things considered, but competent enough is plenty when your mother is a countess, your mother-in-law a general, and your grandmother first naval lady. Still, you know an officer with such connections is a resource worth cultivating in a service with American nepotism as the Navy. And Pakenham's customary good cheer makes her easy enough to get along with. Yet you hear none of her normal affability in her voice now. One must suppose we have been fortunate, she muses as you step up next to her. Our first encounter with the Colombian has not gone quite as fearful as it might have been. A 12-gun brig is not but sport for a ship like Foraker. But I fear that we may soon encounter rather sterner adversaries. You catch Pakenham's meaning exactly. You speak of the heavy frigates. Your first lieutenant nods. One does, ma'am. One must have heard the rumors of them, that they mount twice the guns of any Albionian? Is that how we're saying it?
Well, I guess.
Yeah, Albionian.
Of any Albionian frigate, and that their hulls are impervious to our shot, and so forth. Merely rumors, you insist. Surely such obvious exaggerations cannot dissuade us from doing our duty. Pakenham frowns. They are not exaggerations. When one has read the reports of the bloody swaths they have cut through our lists of frigates and merchant women, one cannot help but be anxious. In truth, one wishes she had your confidence, and one can only hope it is not misplaced.
So I have a question. In real life, we we have terms like policeman and fireman, and then if it's a woman, you say policewoman or firewoman. But
Sure.
like the neutral terms are police officer and firefighter. I don't think I've ever heard merchant man. I think they're just called merchants.
Yeah.
So I
Just
don't.
merchants, exactly.
Yeah, like so I don't think that merchant women is like it wouldn't be a thing because I don't think merchant men would be a thing. I don't think you need to distinguish.
Yeah.
I think
I think they're trying to
there
very
would have
deliberately
been
make
plenty
it.
of merchants who were women throughout history, right?
Yeah, but I guess the idea is that they thought if you're going to change over to an all-female universe, they really want to let you know at every point, like that each of them is a.
Hey, by the
Is a
way,
different gender.
they're still women.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of that going on.
But yeah,
The woman,
no.
woman to woman ship that took over another woman, woman to woman ship.
This feels like bloody Blackadder. You have a woman's hand, my lord. Oh god.
By the way,
Black
for
Blackadder
people
was
who are
fantastic.
coming in
I
late,
love that.
Yeah.
for the
Back
people who
back
are
when I was in
late,
high
little
school, I could
recap.
memorize an entire episode of Blackadder and recite it to my
Yeah.
friends. I was
Oh,
a-
it's
I was-
still.
I
I,
was a-
st-
I
I
was a
still
f-
think of it.
I was a
Yeah.
fucking nerd. Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in chat that are asking like, what's going on? Do you want to give a quick recap?
Oh yeah.
What's going on with the story? You mean?
Yeah, because they're like, where are we? Where is this set? What's going on? I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. So this is set in an alternate universe in the early 1800s, where we are the captain of an all-female ship in an all-female navy in a parody of England during that time. Basically, like imagine Horatio Nelson, and that type of stuff, Napoleon Bonaparte. Yeah, just imagine Horatio Nelson and Napoleon Bonaparte fighting together on ships, but they're all women, and it's set in Albion instead of England, and that's basically what you have. And where we are in the story, we've started in medias res. We're already a ship's captain, and we've just captured an enemy ship from the rival nation of Colombia, and yeah, we're just reveling in our victory at the moment and trying to take our prize ship and captured crew and so on, and make headway for who knows where. We'll find out. That's where we are.
Cool. Everyone good? All right, we're all
Yeah.
caught up. By the way, Roma Invicta in chat saying, actually, merchantman is a term for a non-military ship. In this case,
Oh!
they're using the term merchant woman instead, probably due to the universe.
Oh, it goes to show how much
There
I
you
know
go.
about the Navy.
In the Navy.
You get to sail the seven seas in the net. Sorry.
In the Navy.
dude, the Australian comedy group The Chasers made a parody song of that to make fun of the Navy for all of its sexual abuse things that were coming
Oh,
out
no.
at the time. So
Oh,
I was
man,
like,
that
in
sounds
the
great.
Navy, you get unwantedly groped or something.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was. It's not one of their more memorable songs, but like, the Chasers kind of got famous for being highly offensive and cheeky buggers.
Right.
Which all came to a headway when they decided, for whatever reason, to make fun of terminally ill children.
Oh.
It's like
Good
it's-
move.
uh,
Good move. Jesus.
It's like we preferred it when you were making fun of politicians and
Right.
celebrities and sexual abusers and so on.
Yeah.
But like once you target like
Satire
why
is
would
funny.
you?
You were
Why
just being
would you?
mean.
It's like, what can you make fun of them for? They haven't done anything worth mocking.
Hey, you're a kid, or you're a kid, and you're going to die.
Even that.
No one claps in the audience. It's like, Why aren't you clapping? Because you suck.
You just see the Nielsen ratings just dropping.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, and in chat too, Mushroom Dragon King is asking, can we kill alternate reality female Napoleon? I'm kind of down
I
if that
mean,
happens.
I don't know. Maybe it's been
They're probably still going to die in a horrible ditch somewhere with
yeah
what was it,
with
stomach cancer
gangrene.
or something?
I don't know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry. I think they're doing they're on their way.
Yeah, probably. I actually don't. The only thing I remember about this game is that there's like a gay romance side plot that that was better received than any of the straight romance options in the game, even
That's
by the
awesome.
straight audience, because literally all of the straight romance options are like you marry someone for convenience, and then the gay version is you have an illicit passionate affair with someone or whatever. but they're an actual character, you know.
Right.
Yeah. We were at the top of this page, weren't we? By the way,
All right.
spoilers.
Yes.
I spoiled the story for you all.
We'll just pick the bad marriage, figure out how that turns out.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, most choose your own adventure books, like 9 out of 10 of the endings are you die.
Yeah.
That is true. And in most modern video games, there are a whole bunch of romance options on the side and one gay option, just to placate the L's and the G's.
Mac McSkullface, the game is not free. It's like $5 on Steam. What's the
Yeah,
name of it again?
I fucking bought it for this stream. You're welcome. Should we continue? I feel like we've stalled for a while.
Let's do it.
Fine. Surely, once we make our rendezvous with Courageous, Admiral Warwick will be able to offer us more recent intelligence regarding the situation. You assure Pakenham. Perhaps your anxiety shall be made ridiculous then.
Rude.
Confirmed. Shield. Somewhere behind you, the ship's bell rings, and Pakenham retreats to supervise the change of watch, leaving you alone with your own thoughts.
Again.
That's a bit mean to call the crew.
Our character's an asshole, apparently.
Right. Perhaps your first lieutenant is right. Perhaps the heavy frigates of the Colombian Navy are worth being frightened of. In the past year of war, they have certainly done a great deal of damage to Albion's overextended shipping and fleet. If the stories are anything near true, the Foraker could be heavily outmatched indeed. Yet, the Colombian coast is vast, and the oceans vaster yet. If the Admiralty's latest intelligence is to be trusted, the Colombians do not possess more than a half dozen of the damn things. It is entirely likely that you shall not see hide nor hair of them at all. But if you do... Okay, choices! Then I would endeavor to be the first to take such a monster down. Absolutely not. No way. The honor of the service would demand I give battle with utmost aggression. I still don't want to die. Then I must let my fear of being named a coward master my fear of defeat and fight. So
you have to fight no matter what.
It's like fight or flight at this point.
Well, it's fight or fight or fight or fight, but you have a different attitude about it.
I should endeavor to be the first to take a monster down. It sounds like suicide.
Yes.
Yeah.
The honor of the service would demand I give battle with utmost aggression. Sounds a little better.
Well, it's like we are a swashbuckling character, right? We have the sword. We swing the sword very good.
And I guess with option 2, we'll only like lose a hand, and that's just going to add to the character. So you know,
if we can be a like Captain Hook lady, add Captain. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
with a swashbuckling sword. How about this? Yeah.
I like that one. I can
All
go
right.
with it.
In honor of the service the honor of the service would demand I give battle with utmost aggression. Yeah, I can take over again. My throat's healed, sort of.
You sure?
Yeah.
I'm fine with continuing.
There are some within the service who would chase who would chase after glory like a bloodhound after a fox, who would see an engagement with one of the Colombian Navy's feared heavy frigates as an opportunity to better their position and their reputation. You would like to think that you have more sense than that. Yet the cold hard facts are simple enough. Albion is at war with Columbia, and to deprive Columbia of one of his heaviest warships the nation is a man as well, would be a palpable blow to the United Republic's ability to make war. Not to mention a substantial boon for Albion. Should the opportunity to engage a Columbian heavy frigate present itself, it would be your patriotic duty. Wouldn't it be matriotic?
Yeah, probably.
I think
Wait,
they fucked. I think they
no,
fucked
it
up
means-
on that one.
No. It means patriotism, not patriarchy. It's like
But
patriotic.
it's still like I don't know the etymology, but
Same root, isn't it?
etymology. But
is it?
doesn't it come from that
I'd
though?
imagine so.
I'm not sure. I think it's two different. I mean, maybe.
Look,
but
even if it doesn't, they missed a huge opportunity to change it to matriotic.
to really like run with the theme. I get.
Yeah. Duty as a loyal subject and an officer of Her Albion Majesty's Navy to do your utmost to sink or capture him. Anything less would be unconscionable.
Wolf.
All right. The thought lingers in your mind as you watch the cordial shrink further and further into the distance as the light of day begins to fade. Bit by bit, he slips over the horizon until once again you are alone on the cold, dark sea. Chapter 1. So we've
Oh my god, that was the
Okay.
prologue.
That was the
Jesus.
prologue. Yeah. So how long can either of you give me? Because we could do like one chapter today or whatever, and then another chapter another day or what have you.
I got nothing else going on today. I got all day.
Right.
I can stick around for a bit. Yeah.
I knew neither of you had anything planned for your Friday nights.
Yeah.
That's why I offered my Saturday morning.
Oh,
We're
that's
so
right,
sorry.
because this is going U.S., Britain, Australian time zones.
Yes.
Yeah. We are on three corners of the world coming together to bring you this amazing stream.
Oh boy.
I am not being contrarian without purpose. That is such a fucking pretentious thing to say. Look, I have a reason for disagreeing with you, mate. I am not being contrarian without purpose, Lieutenant Bannister insists as she reaches across your dining table to refill her glass. I merely submit the argument. What? Okay. That the
Wow.
Colombians have every right to be cross with us. To be cross. That's one way of putting it. This dialogue, I
Someone
swear to
took an
God.
someone took an English 101 course.
I swear to God, this dialogue, the heavy-handed manner in which we have impressed their merchant sailors on the mere suspicion of being deserters, and the way which our government has consistently interfered with their trade, could any of... That's an incorrect semicolon. Why? I don't understand why people use semicolons as commas. They're not supposed to be. Could any of us...
Someone in the chat says, according to Google, patriot came from a Latin word, patriota, which means countryman. So it should be matriotic. So it's sort of a different root, but it has a it's like a square rather than
Right.
a tree, if that makes sense
Right,
in terms of
yeah.
the relation.
'cause I was looking into it, and the other word came from like patrioticas or something like that.
Right.
Patriotas, which
Right.
is
That makes sense.
closely related, but not quite.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Sort of swimming in the same bathtub, but not quite.
Swimming in the
yeah,
same
yeah.
bathtub? Where does
I
that
don't
come
know,
from?
I was thinking.
That's got a British slang. I've never heard it.
You got me thinking Latin, and I started thinking of Roman baths, and anyway,
Okay.
moving
okay.
swiftly on.
Could any of us at this table say that Albion would have done nothing had some other nation imposed such outrages on us? She shakes her head. No, ladies. I say it has been long past time for us to accept that Columbia's complaint is justified and to sue for peace. Sue for peace? Can you take someone to court over? Oh yeah, you can, I guess. Today you can, but
Mhm.
I don't know.
Maybe that's meant to be like pursue, maybe?
Maybe something like it could be flowery use of language.
Pirate,
Maybe
Like
I don't
pirate
know.
life,
I've never
maybe.
seen that before. Sue for peace. What
Apparently
possible?
it is valid English, according to
Well, I
chat.
mean, yeah, it is okay. What possible good does it do for us to feed ships and regiments into this pointless sideshow when Callister Bellerosk still styles herself Empress of the Ghouls? and threatens the peace of the world with an army of nearly 1 million fighting women.
I swear I've heard that last name before, the Bellarok, as like an actual historical figure.
Quite possibly.
Hmm.
Peace will not come cheap, Lieutenant Pakenham notes from the other side of your cramped dining cabin. The Colombians have an unceasing greed for territory. That is the real reason they started this war. They would most certainly demand our colonies to their north as compensation. A small price for an end to this needless distraction, surely, Bannister answers vehemently. What will we stand to lose, save for a few acres of snow? And how long shall this peace last? Pakenham asks, though judging by the tautness of her voice, she already knows the answer. Excuse me. Their government is already far too enamored with Gaul as it is. If one swells their self-confidence by offering them anything that they might consider a victory, how long before they decide they have a taste for war with Albion? How long before they throw in their lot with Bellarok? She shakes her head, her expression a mask of most tranquil outrage. We ain't securing peace. We are offering our enemies the time and inclination to plunge a knife into our backs. So, we can agree with Bannister. We must have peace. Pakenham is right. We cannot risk Colombia allying with Gaul. If discussion of politics leads to such intemperate disputes, then it must stop. I feel like this summarizes Twitter. Yeah.
See, like I'm a 0.3 guy, but I guess 0.2. I don't know. I feel like we've got to keep.
If I was not on full screen capture and I was just capturing the window and I could like go to my browser without like fucking up the stream screen,
Yeah.
I would just go to Twitter now and post that. Although, who do we want to agree with? One, the other, or no one?
So basically, Bannister's saying that we can have peace with the Colombians and then focus on the Gauls.
And then Pakenham is right,
saying
yeah.
We can crush the Colombians and then focus on Gauls.
Yeah,
I
basically.
I kind of like Bannister because the whole reason, like one of the reason a lot of major wars are lost is because the country involved is fighting on two fronts.
Right.
And they get
I want to
shredded.
agree with Pakenham just because I feel like our swashbuckling character is all like, "Yar, we gotta go and we gotta kill them, dirty Colombians."
Right, you think like you'll
Okay,
agree
look,
with Bannister and be
okay,
like,
look, Colombia
Pakenham will remember this.
Colombia is a real country in this world, and
Yeah.
now that I've said we've got to go and kill those damn Colombians
Don't worry, just
in
delete the stream when it's
isolation
done,
on
it's fine.
stream, I feel like that's gonna come back and bite me one day.
I'm sure the 39 people watching will not take you out of context on your opinions on the real land of Colombia.
I've never been there, but I have watched Narcos, so I basically know everything I need to know about the
Oh,
country.
there you go.
No, I don't. It's the country of Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I love that guy. Well, I love his books. I've never met the guy.
Well, then you probably don't want to screw up their country.
No, I don't.
I think you'll find it's Gabriela Garcia Marquez in this universe.
That's pretty good. That's top tier.
If we're honest.
So I'm for Pakenham, Delaros for Bannister. Who are you for? You're the tiebreaker.
See, normally I'm for option 3. Normally that's
no.
that's normally my go-to like response.
Chat, help.
Oh God!
So I feel-
it has
yeah.
to be chat.
Chat's gonna be the tiebreaker on this one.
Oh dear.
Because I think fighting a war on two fronts will just lead to us dying much quicker.
I
versus
think
if
that
we
I think that we
settle
should
our
go.
shit
I
with
think that we should just
Colombia.
do what makes sense for our character. Good. And also because Pakenham is our connections guy. I mean girl.
Yeah.
But I don't think our line of command with Pakenham would disintegrate over just a disagreement
Look,
for
if
one
if
thing.
Telltale and BioWare have taught me anything, it's that in order to maintain friendships, you have to agree with that person on literally everything they say.
Otherwise, they will turn on you.
Otherwise they'll be really upset. They'll come at you later and they'll be like, "Oh, I can't believe you disagreed with me. I feel so like
Yeah.
you've betrayed me." So yeah, like I'm
So
looking
far, I see
forward
two
to 2 weeks
Bannisters.
down the
Well,
line when both of you cut ties with me over this.
well, I'm seeing 3 votes for Bannister.
Okay,
So
well, I guess Bannister wins out. All right.
Funnily enough, they just took it away, but Roma Invicta had a message where it's like, no, screw that. Team up with the Gals and crush the.
Yeah, why is that not an option?
yeah, they got the magic potion. Like, come on, and syphilis.
So, you forget, ma'am, that not all in Colombia possess as warlike a temperament as those women who currently comprise their government, you remind your first lieutenant. Surely there must be many Colombians who oppose open conflict with Albion and miss dearly the sight of our trading ships in their harbors. Likewise, let us not forget that there is a prominent party within the Colombian government which would much rather be our allies than our enemies, and though they may be out of power for the moment, they may return to prominence before long. Bannister offers you a nod of appreciation as you take her part. As for Pakenham, she can only concede the point with her usual grace. Even an officer as well connected as she daren't contradict a captain at her own table.
That is such a Pakenham will remember this. She's absolutely going to. She's gonna rub this in your face when it goes wrong.
Yeah, I told you. I told you, Captain Planet Nobe. With a name like that, I thought I could trust you. The Planet Nobe name is a strong one through many generations. Oh dear. It is Captain
This
Mercer.
has been in the Planet No bloodline for generations.
Basically, what we're saying is there was a reason why in Mass Effect they were just like, let's just call the main character Shepard. We'll let them pick the first name, but
Yeah.
we'll just call them Shepard the entire story. No fun allowed. It is Captain Mercer who boldly essays to salvage the evening. Come now, we are all still friends here, are we not? I actually don't know, she asks jovially, a bumper of port in her hand. Let us have no more of division on this fine evening. Let us instead have a toast to something which we are all in accord. Hear, hear, Pakenham concurs, apparently just as eager to make amends. A toast. Mercer turns
That's
to you.
fine.
Ma'am, with your permission, you nod. She clearly means well, and you rather doubt that the Marine officer's efforts will make things worse. Mercer stands to almost her full height, stooped just enough to avoid the low ceiling. Chairs scrape against the deck as the other officers join her. The Queen, Mercer toasts. Whatever
Okay, real quick.
Yeah?
Sorry. Roma Invicta in chat, they're like, I sorely regret the fact that I only came up with the name Captain Tosspot just now.
It's fine. We're Captain. I keep saying Planet Captain Nobe for some reason. We're Captain Planet Nobe. Okay. What are our stats actually? I don't think they've actually changed. Crew strength and crew morale.
We're a bit more composed right now. About it.
Whatever vestiges of rancor or ill feeling betwixt your officers evaporates in that moment. I love that. Whatever differences in opinion or views... They started 2 sentences in a row with whatever, so I don't like that. Whatever differences in opinion or views you might have, you are all officers of the Queen. It is the commission that you all hold, signed by that august royal hand, which binds you together. You have all pledged to die for her, and if that is what is required of you, then you will all at least know that you have done your duty. The Queen, your officers chorus as they raise their glasses in salute. As do you. The rest of the evening passes pleasantly enough. Any notion of lingering bitterness forgotten. Yet you sleep very little that night, not because of what has passed, but of what is to come tomorrow. The next morning, Foraker makes his rendezvous with HMS Courageous. After a short passage in the ship's boat, You clamber up the slab sides of Admiral Warwick's 74-gun flagship, past the checkered rows of closed gun ports and up over the side to the shrill sound of the bosun's whistle. That is all the ceremony you get today. Courageous's first lieutenant wastes little time in ushering you to the flag cabin where your superior awaits.
Oh no.
Excuse me. The commander-in-chief of the Columbian station is staring out the stern windows when you arrive, a slim, rigid figure who still bears all the tautness of a predatory cat. We're gonna get ourselves into a cat fight. Aha! Badum shish. Admiral Warwick turns to as you are announced, her expression sharply focused. Ah, Planet Noob! Good of you to come so quickly. We have precious little time to lose. How much do you know about the Colombian Navy's heavy frigates? You feel your heartbeat quicken. You've been in the service long enough to intuit where this conversation is going. I know that they are the most powerful ships the Colombians have, you reply, and that any captain who could take one would strike a palpable blow for Albion, ma'am. Easier said than done, Planet Noob. Warwick growls. 2 of the bloody things have dogged us these past 6 months. I have lost 3 frigates and half a dozen sloops to them. Now I have received reports that they may have been joined by a third, just as heavily armed and built. Your orders are to ascertain the veracity of these reports, and if there is indeed a third Colombian frigate, to find him and to inform me of his location. Any questions? If we find this enemy frigate, do we have permission to engage him? Shall we still be able to take prizes should the opportunity present itself? How goes the war elsewhere, ma'am? No questions, ma'am.
I'd say no questions.
Yeah,
It's
no
pretty
questions.
clear
Oh,
cut.
well, I'm already
Show 'em
out. I'm
go,
already
find 'em,
outvoted.
come back.
Doesn't even matter what I want.
Oh.
I'm just being bitter. Achievement! We ne'er see our foes. Receive orders to hunt a... Oh. Okay, it
Colombian
just disappeared. It's fine. Admiral Warwick nods approvingly. Good. Our last report indicated that your quarry is about 200 miles north by northwest. She pulls a folded piece of paper from inside her jacket. This is the copy of the report of his last sighting. Begin your search there. Aye, ma'am, you answer as you take the sealed report and tuck it in your own vest. Back to your ship, then, the Admiral commands as she folds her hands back behind her back. Behind... Oof! Oh, no! No!
It's like right there. They should have seen
Yeah.
that. Oh, it's-
Yeah. Good luck and Godspeed. I feel like Godspeed could be like feminized, but I wouldn't know how. Goddess speed?
Athena speed.
Goddess speed.
It's a little. I mean, I was gonna say it's a little clunky, but then they have back behind the back, so.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have unintentional bad writing, you might as well have intentional bad
Go
writing
the-
as well.
Go the whole way.
Foraker sets out immediately towards your quarry's last known at best speed. The wind is with you, and you order every yard of sail crowded on, knowing that every moment's delay will make it harder to track down any evidence one way or the other. Yet evidence does not take long to uncover. 2 days out from the Courageous, your lookout spots a sail on the horizon. A schooner flying Colombian colors, sailing low and lubberly, as if overloaded by something. He turns to run as Foraker approaches, but only a few figures climb up the rigging to work the sails, far fewer than even a small vessel like this one ought to have. Needless to say, he is little match for a 38-gun frigate. Foraker closes the distance quickly, and a single warning shot from your bow chaser is enough to make he haul down her colors
Hold
and
down
surrender.
her colors.
Okay. So first they have the wrong pronoun. It should be to make him haul down his colors. And right here, you're not
No,
on
that's
theme.
the-
You're not on theme, game.
Oh no.
Paul Wang, why? I mean, like, we don't even need to speculate about who's to blame. His name is right there.
Just found our first proofreading casualty. Just didn't make it to the table.
Oh dear. I fear his crew has proven most uncooperative, Bannister reports to you after leading a boarding party across to take possession of your new prize. He is a cartel, and both captain and crew have been most vigorous in their protestations. Right, because we have Colombians in our crew now, right?
Yes.
Right.
Is it? I thought we gave our.
Oh,
people
is
to the
this? Hang
Colombian
on.
crew.
Have we already boarded the ship?
Oh. Hmm.
Because
No,
after
on
leading a
our ship-
boarding party across to take possession of your new prize, so because we were chasing the ship in the last page, I don't know, or whatever, and now it's after leading a
And they
boarding
gave
party
up.
across to take possession of your new prize. So have we just captured that ship?
I think.
I
That
get.
Because
They did say that
we're
we were.
either-
Yeah.
That
one
makes
of two
sense.
things happened. Either we went with Bannister to capture the ship, and now they're just reporting back, or we never left the ship. Bannister went, did the thing, came back, and is telling you, "Hey, they don't want to surrender."
Oh man, that's so
And
out
it
of
said. It said. Sorry, I was just gonna say. It did say that it was easy for us to overpower them, so they probably.
They just
like a quick-
skipped that whole scene. They were just like, it's not even
Yeah.
worth. It's not even worth mentioning.
Yeah, like you know how this goes.
Yeah, that makes sense. A cartel is a ship assigned to carry prisoners taken off prize ships for exchange. Under normal circumstances, such vessels have immunity from capture. But in this case. Excuse me. I explained to them that the United Republics has entered into no agreement with Her Majesty's government regarding the protection of cartels. And that furthermore, turning to flee qualifies as a hostile act that voids any protection they might have had in any case. Holy shit. Wow, we are assholes. Running away? How dare you? That's an act of war. Oh dear. Bannister continues, yet they remain quite uncooperative. However, their obstinance means little in the end. We found hands from 5 different ships' companies in the hold, all of them Albionian. It shouldn't be too hard to guess how they got there. If Bannister is saying what you think she is saying, then you have had a stroke of fortune indeed. Their ships were taken by this Colombian mystery frigate. Are you guys still there, by the way?
Yeah, still here.
Okay.
We're just listening.
All right. Did these prisoners mention which port the Delmarva was bound for? Pakenham asks. That does appear to be a rather important distinction. Well, there is the problem, Bannister admits. Some of the women we spoke to thought he was bound for south of Worsley. But others believed west to New Lancaster or north to Tremountain. I feel like that's a parody of Tullamarine or something.
Hmm.
The prize crew know, of course, but they are not likely to offer us any answers. Your officers turn to you for a decision, even though they know as well as you that at this point any decision you make might well be guesswork, unless you were to find any further leads. Yet still, a decision must be made. That is the burden of command. We sail for Tremountain, set course for New Lancaster. Let us lead for Worsley and see what we find. Tell me about these ports.
I think 4. Tell me about these. ports.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
need some more
Find a clue.
info.
They are all major ports, or at least what passes for major ports in this part of the world, Bannister replies. New Lancaster is the largest, but Tremountain's shipyards are better. Worsley is the furthest south, and I have been told that it is the southerners who are against peace with Albion most fervently. She shrugs. I'm not sure I could say more than that, ma'am. None of us are native to these parts.
Okay.
My throat's starting to go
I'm
again.
kind of split between
Oh, no.
Tremountain and Worsley.
Well, New Lancaster is the largest. Tremountain's shipyards are better. I feel like it's definitely not New Lancaster.
Yeah.
Because my thought for New Lancaster being out is just like, yeah, maybe it's the largest. Maybe you don't want to bring attention to yourself by going to the
Well-
biggest port in the area.
I mean, well, it's like, why would you go to somewhere just because it's the largest port?
Right.
Like, surely you'd go somewhere for like utilitarian purposes. So it's like you'd go to either Tremountain for the shipyards or Worsley for the allies, right?
Right. But maybe they would.
Well, but they already have.
It's the furthest south. Maybe
Yeah.
that means it's further.
Well, it's further away from Albion, or whatever.
Right.
I feel like Worsley is the correct answer, but we might just get attacked by the Warsh, or whatever they're called. The Warsh, the Worsleans. I feel like Warsh is the correct term.
Warsh. Screw it.
Yeah.
Split the difference. Go Trimount.
Yeah, have a little adventure in the big shipyards.
Oh, okay. I'm outvoted again.
Oh,
B-Mask, do you want to take over for me?
sure. Should I just go now?
Yeah.
Bannister nods. Aye, aye, ma'am. I shall get us a fix and have Mistress Burrows plot a course. Your second lieutenant heads off to the stern rail, sextant in hand, but Pakenham remains, staring at the captured schooner. One cannot help but see a tinge of foolhardiness in this endeavour, she observes. We are short-handed as it is. If that Colombian were to contrive to board us, then he may be able to overwhelm us with the sheer numbers alone, lest we take some precautions. One might suggest increasing our numbers, seeing as we have such a convenient source of trained hands at our disposal. Pardon me. You catch your first lieutenant's meaning immediately. Impressment is neither popular or uncontroversial policy. True, there are more expedient ways to fill up the ranks of an underhanded lady of war. Few are also likely to cause more unrest and disorder. The press gangs may be restricted by law to take those subjects of Her Albanian Majesty already accustomed to life at sea, but that does not mean the sailors who crew Albion's merchant ships possess the skills unique to fighting a warship, or the temperament needed to handle the Navy's harsher discipline. Still, Pakenham has a point. You shall likely have no better opportunity to replenish Foraker's company. Given the circumstances, the use of the press gang may be warranted. I'll take volunteers only. I want no pressed women on the ship. Press anyone who looks like they've served on a warship before. That sounds a bit haphazard. Our need is dire. Impress as many as we can.
I think volunteers might be the best thing because if they think they can handle it, they'll come forward.
Yes. Whereas if you like start randomly choosing, Peggy from accounting, I don't think it's gonna work in your favor.
Nick, you good? What do you think?
I actually don't know. I've got to look at stats. Because I'm wondering how this changed stats. There's crew sailing 50%, crew gunnery 50%. I actually don't know. Because I know this is I know that this is one of those decisions that's going to change our stats. I just don't know how. Yeah, I'll go with volunteers.
Yeah.
All right.
You send out the call for volunteers from the cartel's rescued prisoners, but few answer. Oh dear. Perhaps the rest have heard stories of the conditions aboard the ships of Her Majesty's Navy. Some might have even experienced them firsthand. While they are not as bad as the sort of treatment a sailor could expect in the Gaulish or Iberian service, they are certainly far from lax as more congenial atmosphere aboard.
As they are certainly far from as lax as the more congenial. Yeah.
They are certainly far from as lax. It's a bit up and down. As the more congenial atmosphere aboard a merchant ship. While it is true that the Admiralty has done much to improve the quality of food and treatment aboard the Albion's ladies of war these late few years, a naval captain must still demand a level of discipline from her company which exceeds that demand by any merchant house. There is also, of course, the constant threat of death by cannon, musket, cutlass, and bayonet, which some understandably shy away from. That is smart girls. That is not to say there are not at least a handful who prove brave enough to step forward, but they are certainly not enough to bring Foraker's company back to full strength. Womp womp, we let that one slide. Oh dear.
Oh right. It would have. Yeah.
Okay, so it was a net gain, but yeah, it makes it sound like we
Well, if you take on other ones, what might have happened is it might have actually taken it might have upped crew strength more, but it might have taken down something like crew morale.
Morale, yeah.
Because it mentioned too. It mentioned like it could taking more people or impressing, which I think is just forcing people to serve.
Yes.
Would have caused a lot of discord in the crew.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's better just to keep.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Keep the morale high, keep the strength good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least there is one. Yeah. At least there is one advantage to recruiting only volunteers. The new members of your company arrive eager to serve and to please. For the most part, they make every effort to fit into their divisions. Within the day, most have already learned their business and are almost indistinguishable from the more seasoned hands of Foraker's company. That's good.
See, there you go.
Yeah, we did it. So yet, no matter how many new hands Foraker takes on, you will never be able to match the numbers of Delmarva's company, especially if he is given the chance to take on more crew in port. If the Colombian frigate forces an engagement upon you, then Foraker will have to rely on the superior quality of his crew to prevail. Yet, as things
I
stand
thought
now,
Foraker was a girl ship.
so did
What?
I.
No, all the
Because
all
earlier
the
Oh,
they
no,
said
yeah, the
Foraker
ship-
a girl
all the
ship.
ships are
Oh,
male
yeah.
because the crews are all female.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I forgot they
How
did that switch.
confusing.
No,
Yeah.
there was one error in where they slipped up and
Yes.
the ship was referred to as a her.
The sort of reality seeped through for a second there. Different timeline.
Oh no, I can see the draft.
Oh no. Yet, as things stand now, there is much room for improvement. Your gun crews give you cause for a special worry. Shouldn't that just be me? Weeks of facing nothing more formidable than a lightly armed brig has given rise to an air of complacency, something which may prove fatal if you are to next face down an enemy ship which outguns yours by a substantial margin. At least you will have some time to ameliorate the situation. It may be weeks, if not months, before you discover the whereabouts of the Delmarva. It is time that would be well spent in the service of amplifying the strengths of your crew, or making up for its weaknesses. Our efforts will be spent most profitably in gunnery drill. We must focus our efforts on sail drill above all. Let the crew have light duties, the better to raise their spirits.
So basically, what do we want? Do we want gunnery stats, sailing stats, or morale? So
Our morale's pretty good.
captain's
right now. I
record,
think we can
ships,
sacrifice that.
captain's record. So sailing and gunnery are both they're both at 35%.
Yeah.
And crew morale is at 70%. So I feel like we can spend
Oh,
some
yeah.
morale to bring up one of these.
Yes.
I think if we're already going to be outgunned anyway, because we have what 40-something guns to their 70-something,
Yes.
it might be best to outmaneuver them rather than try to fight them head on.
That is true. I think what happens is
Oh,
because
yeah, there it is. Condition of the Forsaker, 38 guns. Versus these other ones that are getting hyped up as 70 plus.
Yeah.
a fifth-rate frigate of the Royal Albion Navy. Oh, we're
Ooh,
fifth-rate.
Yeah.
That's disheartening. But basically, yeah, like, well, I think because the way these games work, I'm pretty sure, is that as long as you pick the option that you have the stats for, that counts as a success. So it's like, we might later on get an option that's like, how do you want to fight the enemy ship? Do you want to outmaneuver them or do you want to outgun them? And if you choose outmaneuver, it checks your sailing stat, and if you choose outgun, it selects your gun stat. So I'm pretty sure at
Which makes sense.
I'm pretty sure at this stage in the game, because we're only on chapter 1, this is more of like a crafting your character type scenario. So it's basically just what do we want to be as a captain? Do we want to be a captain who is very good at navigating her ship, or do we want to be a captain who's very good at engaging in ship to ship combat?
I could see both of them having.
Yeah.
Or do we want to slack off and just be
Definitely
the
not.
chummiest,
Yeah, no,
the chummiest captain that ever chummed on the Seven Seas?
Because sure, as it says, it may be weeks, if not months, before you discover the whereabouts of the Delmarva. It could also be tomorrow.
It could also be
Yep.
tomorrow, yeah.
That's true.
But I feel like morale can take a hit for the sake of one of these. But
Oh yeah,
course,
definitely.
But what do we want for our character? Gunnery or sail? I'm for gunnery.
Mm.
Do either of you want to vote?
Hmm.
I'm kind of split. Not gonna lie.
Oh.
I guess it depends on if the situation's going to be like.
Well, the way I've
Yeah.
explained it, I don't actually think it's to do with the situation, because I think because it's chapter 1, you can deal with it either way. It just depends on
okay.
like, do you want to deal with it through gunning it down or through outmaneuvering it?
Well,
Hmm.
think about it like this: the last ship that we took over, we blew it to smithereens, but then had to fix it anyway. If we outmaneuver it, we have less crap to do.
We just like run away.
Oh
No. We cut them off, force them to surrender, and then by the time the fighting is done, we have a mostly complete ship. The last ship we took over, we had to like do a lot of cleanup on it and building it back up because we blew it up.
Well, we are actually a sword swinging swashbuckler. So if we pick maneuvering, maybe we can use that to like board and
Yes,
and
that's
get
true.
yeah. So maybe this is better.
Sure, let's take that one. One can hardly practice setting and furling the sails while the ship is underway, not if one wishes to make any real progress towards one destination. But that does not mean that Foraker's top women cannot be run through the motions of climbing the shrouds, of climbing out upon the spars, of surveying the tops, and of all the processes of putting on or taking off sail which are required. Bleh, and all the and of all the processes. Now you know how these videos are recorded, folks. And of all the processes of putting on or taking off sail which are required short of actually doing so. Foraker's top women are far from amateurs. They were chosen for their post in the first place due to their youth, agility, intelligence, and strength, and every one has long since learned the ship's rigging like the back of their hand. But even though they show signs of improvement as they go through the evolutions of sail, over and over again. Surely, with enough time and practice, your crew will be able to ensure that Foraker's fine sailing qualities will be used to his best advantage.
Let's check the stat.
No,
Oh, it
so
hasn't
this-
given it up.
Yeah,
It
it
hasn't
is.
given it to us
Not
yet.
yet.
Hold on.
Maybe next.
Next, show stats. No,
No,
morale hasn't even gone down. Weird.
That's a bit weird.
Weird.
Foraker
makes.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, did you want to? No, you okay to take it back?
Yeah, I'm okay to take it back for now.
Go for it. I'm tripping sliding all over the place.
Foraker makes good time as he sails north by northwest towards the Colombian port of Tri-Mountain. 4 days after you take the cartel, your lookout spots the long, curving coast of Cabot Hooks ahead. It will only be another 2 or 3 days before you make sight of the lights of Tri-Mountain Harbor itself. Yet there is no sign of the Delmarva or any other Colombian warship. Foraker is the only sail in sight, save for a few coasters and fishing boats which quickly clear out at the sight of an Albanian lady of war. Wait, hang on. Is that lady of war referring to you or your ship?
I think so.
It would.
If it's referring to the
Maybe
ship,
both.
shouldn't it be man of war?
I think we've just. It's another slip of the tongue. I think.
I
It's
don't
another-
know because man of war is also a type of ship in real life.
It is.
yeah.
But all the ships are named after men.
But
so,
we're also frigates, so we're not a man of war. I don't know. I don't know my navy. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah.
Perhaps you have guessed wrong. Press on. I wish to see the state of Tri-Mountain Harbor with my own eyes. Perhaps a more thorough search of the approaches will yield some intelligence. Best we look elsewhere. Set a course for New Lancaster. The Delmarva is not here. Set course for Worsley. I must know the state of Foraker's crew before making a decision. I mean, more information
Maybe.
certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never hurts.
You call in your division heads and wardroom officers for a meeting and ask for a report on the ship's company. After a few minutes of discussion, the state of Foraker's crew becomes clear. You have enough crew to sail the ship and fight the guns, but only just. Should you take losses or need to set off prize crews, you may find yourself short-handed. As for the gun crews, they are in a tolerable condition, but only just. They may prove more than a match for their counterparts aboard a Gaulish or Colombian frigate, but they are far below any standard fit for an Albionian ship. The top women are in barely acceptable shape. Though they do their duty without fault or error, they have grown painfully slow, far slower than the rigging crew of any Albionian lady of war ought to be. Morale remains high, though whether that state of affairs would endure an enemy broadside or boarding action is a different question. Your officers look to you for your orders, anxious to prepare and implement any changes you might choose in order to order in the ship's routine. So, the current regime is satisfactory. Let us direct our efforts towards gunnery drill. A period of light duties is required to raise crew spirits. Okay, so
I think this is
this is
like
actually
asking you, are you sure?
yeah. So the reason we haven't received
Yeah.
the stat yet is because the because we're doing the drills as we're sailing, I guess.
Mhm.
So as we sail the seven seas, we're doing these drills to prepare for when we eventually find the thing, and then over time our crew becomes better. So we want to stay course on sailing.
I think so.
Okay. So here's our other choice. Press on. I wish to see the state of the Tri-Mountain Harbor with my own eyes. Perhaps a more thorough search of the approaches will yield some intelligence. Best we look elsewhere. Set course for New Lancaster. The Delmarva is not here. Set course for Worsley. And this is just
I
what we
think the
chose
second
before.
one is saying like we kind of hang out outside of port and see who shows up, kind of like a stakeout.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like it. Whereas press on is just you go straight to
Yeah, just to
Tri-Mountain
go
Harbor.
straight in. Yeah.
Yeah, into hostile Colombian harbor.
Wait, it is?
Yeah, they mentioned earlier Tri-Mountain
Oh,
is a
okay.
Colombian
Yeah.
harbor.
I thought it was
I don't
neutral,
know.
maybe.
I don't know how good of an idea us with our big Albionian flag going straight into Colombian territory, how well that'll go for us.
Yeah, we are just one ship, so yeah, maybe
It's
this.
doing barely, getting by according to everything.
Okay. So send out some spies or scouts or whatever. Are we sending out the scouts?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, we're not going elsewhere.
No, I don't think so.
I'd say hang out. We might find them here.
That's true. We are here already.
Hmm.
After conferring with Sailing Mistress Burrows, you determine a search pattern along the coast of Cabot's Hook, which should allow you to intercept any vessels which might be found entering or leaving Tri-Mountain Bay. For a week, Foraker cruises along the cold northern waters with every available eye directed outwards for any sign of sail or peculiar landward movement. For a week you find nothing, not even the customary passage of small craft along the coves and villages of the coast. The crew begins to weary of the inactivity, as paradoxical as that may seem. By the end of the week, their movements begin to grow sluggish, their moods begin to grow sullen. Some whisper that the search is fruitless, and that you are merely wasting time while the Colombian frigate refits and takes on fresh crew in the safety of some distant harbor. Then on the eighth day, on the eighth day, your lookout spots sail, and not just any sail, but the great canvas array of a fully rigged ship approaching fast from the south. Yet the inbound ship is no Colombian frigate, but HMS Antipode, a mighty 64-gun third-rate headed for Ismay from the Rum Islands. Antipode is on an urgent assignment and cannot be detained, but he comes alongside long enough for his captain to tell you that he has seen no sign of Colombian frigates off Worsley or New Lancaster. While that does not entirely rule out the possibility that the Delmarva may be in some other port, it does mean that it is far more likely that he is in Tri-Mountain. Unfortunately, Antipode's captain cannot offer you more than her own vague observations. If you wish to make sure, you'll have to do it yourself. So press on to Tri-Mountain.
Yes, get in there. Let's go fuck them up.
Get in there.
Check the crew. Oh well.
Oh no, that's the same thing as before with the.
Okay.
Whatever.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? Lieutenant Pakenham tenses when you give the order. Tri-Mountain Bay is one of the Colombian Navy's primary home ports, and for good reason. Its waters are dominated by half a dozen coastal fortresses and batteries. Any attempt to get close enough to surveil its quays and yards cannot help but be a risky enterprise. Yet Pakenham is still an officer of the Royal Navy and passes on your commands without hesitation. If your crew show any sign of apprehension or fear, they hide it well. Foraker heels towards its destination, with a full set of sail and a crew with hearts full of good cheer.
And a hey nonny nonny and a wachacha.
It is 2 days to Tri-Mountain, 2 days of nervous and furtive scouting, of an eye glued to the glass for any sign that you have been detected. 2 days of gliding under false colours and hooded lanterns, hiding as best you can from coastal batteries and watchtowers. The crew is already much on edge even before the massive stone bastions of Fort Liberty and Fort Putnam heave into view. Their parapets glimmering with the black iron of guns, each thrice as large as the Foraker's own. Your heart is throbbing plug in your throat as you bring your glass up and peer past the massive fortifications into Tri-Mountain Bay, past the cannon-studded breakwaters, past the rows of merchant ships, until you see it, the low black iron hull of a Colombian heavy frigate, rigged and in all readiness to sail. Then you spot another, and another. Ah,
Oops.
they
Christ, we
do
found
have
all
they
three.
do have 3 heavy frigates. We have confirmed. Ah, chapter 2. So at chapter 2, do we want to call it or keep going?
Again, I got nothing else going on.
We
I-
can keep going for a
I
bit.
did not plan this stream, so
Let's-
if at
Yeah,
any
let's.
point
I want to know if we fight the frigates.
if at any point you two want to just like call it a night, just let me know.
Will do.
I have no
Let's,
plans.
It's 3 for me. I'm good.
3 p.m.
Yeah.
Huh. Nice. You might actually, if we end this fast enough, you might actually be able to use your Friday night to go out and do stuff.
Oh, look.
You assume too much of me.
I don't know. Just get on your own stream, and then I'll go on your stream and have just. Well, I don't know.
I wouldn't
Whatever.
mind.
Something I don't know. You have found the enemy, not just one Colombian warship, but 3, each bigger and more heavily armed than your own. In the face of such opposition, the ship which had felt so mighty under your feet not a moment before cannot help but seem a little too small. His cannon a little too light, his crew a little too few in numbers. Foraker might be able to stand up to one of the Colombians. If you are fortunate, he might even put up a credible showing against 2. But 3? Hold on, let me just... No, our stats have still not changed.
Still no? All right.
The greater the odds, the greater the glory, and impossible odds make for grand heroes indeed.
Yeah, no. No.
The honor of the service demands I do my utmost. My personal feelings are irrelevant. Yeah.
Bull.
Such odds
We were
terrify
told
me,
to
though I dare
service.
not show it. The only reasonable course of action would be to withdraw.
Pretty sure we're unanimous on that one.
No, I feel like that would be the coward's way out. I want to
No,
play
no,
a
no. You gotta remember, we were ordered by our superior. Find the ships, come back and tell me.
We were.
That's true.
But we can get so much glory. There are 3
we
options.
Yeah,
We're a
Look-
swashbuckling.
they'll give us
Look.
they'll give us a glorious goddamn eulogy.
look, here's my reasoning. There are 3 options here for engaging the ship and 1 option for withdrawing. I feel like the game is telegraphing that engagement is the best option.
Let chat decide.
Chat! should we withdraw?
Please withdraw. This is like the worst version of Twitch plays Pokemon.
I want to see Twitch players Call of Duty.
That'd be interesting.
That would be impossible. It would be
Oh,
God.
yeah.
Oh God.
we've got
Alright,
3. We got 3 for doing something.
3-2.
2
3-2.
for 3-2.
Come on, withdrawing. We know where they are. We can. God damn it.
Oh, we got 4 for go forward.
Oh no! Come on.
All right. So, what kind of character are we? Are we? I don't want to go into battle, but I should. Are we?
Serviceable.
Yeah. We gotta do it for the crown because I'm a service thing, or are we to glory?
Complete with the coughing at the end.
Yeah,
We're
I am
gonna
actually
die.
sick at the moment.
We're dead. We're dead as hell.
We're dead.
Super dead.
We're dead.
Let's go die.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go die. Let's do it. Let's go die.
I was thinking exactly that. That's exactly the situation.
But we have to have the female version of Leroy Jenkins. So what would that be? Lisa
Leorina?
Jenkins.
Lisa Jenkins.
Meme.
Sounds like a WWE wrestler.
Nice. Okay, 1 against 3 seem like impossible odds, but the Royal Navy's reputation is built on such lopsided matches. The ranks of Albion's heroes are made of such women, of those who were
Oh,
faced with
God.
odds just as galling as the ones which case you now, and not only saw to their duty with cool courage, but came out victorious.
Oh, jerk the whole time.
If you take such odds and lose all, then you will not have only done your duty to the utmost in the finest traditions of service. You would die a hero. But if you were to prevail, you would live a
You would
legend.
die a fool.
Chapter 3, you die.
Chapter 3, the end.
Yeah. It's very dark and silent, and you can't think or feel anything. Oh dear.
By the way, before we continue, someone in chat mentioned earlier we can apparently change this to dark mode,
Oh, you
Oh,
can?
that could be good.
where it's black with white things.
All right.
on it.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be in stats, would it? It would be in menu.
Menu.
Uh,
Change
change
background
the
color.
background color. Black sepia background. Oh
Ugh.
yeah. What's sepia?
It's like that weird beige color.
Yeah,
This
it's
is like
when
no different
yeah.
from white. Let's go with black. Turn to the game.
Ooh.
Ah, nice. I
Oh,
like that.
actually, I
like that
have
quite a bit
I
better.
have I have a question for you. So this is called a game. The developers call it a game. The players, the audience calls it a game. The company is called Choice of Games. Is this a game?
Yeah, I'd say so.
But it's
basically more
mostly
advanced than
literary
that.
though. Like, is this
Yeah,
close?
but
Isn't
but
this
there's a
They're huge.
isn't this closer to literature than a game? Like, I feel like this is actually a reasonable argument to have.
but it's a interactive, piece of work. So
But,
just
but-
by nature of interacting with it.
But does that mean that choose your own adventure novels are games because you can interact with them?
I'd argue they certainly have a game element to them.
I don't know. I would say it's a game because it's like because it follows all the rules of what consists of a game. I think the medium it's in doesn't
But-
prevent it from being.
I don't know, but I know this is just like pointless semantics, but I do feel like it's closer to literature than a game.
The problem is that it's both. It uses exactly the same methods as both combined. So
Yeah. Well, like
I
'cause
don't
this
know,
is-
I
this is
remember too-
kind of why I got interested in exploring this space again, is because like interactive fiction arguably takes elements from video games and literature, and so maybe it would be like its own thing. Like,
but
I mean,
but a lot of games. Yeah.
well, because I know a lot of people who, well, no, I don't know a lot of people, but I have seen that people sometimes will will refer to these types of things not as games or as literature, but as interactive fiction.
Right, but you have to remember there were loads of games that were literally just this on a screen. They were like choose your way adventure books, but it was in a cartridge or something.
Yeah,
so
they're
I think
adventure games,
yeah.
but I mean, definitions can change over time to suit our needs, and because
Sure.
the go-to example I always go to is Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein. Her
Yeah.
mother, Mary Wollstonecraft, is sometimes cited as one of the first feminists in history, but feminism didn't exist in that era as like a movement.
Right.
So we retroactively call her a feminist because her ideas lined up a lot with the feminist movement that came later.
Yeah.
But at that time, if you were to exist in that time and go to Mary Wollstonecraft and call her a feminist, she wouldn't know what you're talking about, and she might even disagree that she should be called that.
Right.
So, like, I think it's perfectly fine if these types of games, these types of text games, in the past were called adventure games. I think it's perfectly reasonable to later on retroactively say, actually, for our purposes now, it's probably not useful to call them adventure games, so let's not call them adventure games, let's call them something else. Especially because the term adventure game makes you think of something like Grim Fandango.
Monkey Island or
Monkey Island, Grim Fandango, Telltale, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see it as a game. I think just in terms of the system upon which it works, I think qualifies it as a game.
I just don't see how calling it a game is useful at all.
But I guess not. But I see it as a game in the same way that like Monopoly is a game, or the same way that Bridge cards is a game.
Yeah.
I just think it.
I would
If
say
the-
that
if
I
there
would
was
say
a
that
ga-
I would say
yeah.
that Monopoly is a little bit more like interactive than this. I mean, I know it's just dice rolling and shit, but
Yeah, no, but it's still.
Yeah.
I think it's just a different kind of interactivity. It's our, opinions impressing upon where the story goes.
I
So
suppose.
I feel that input just kind of elevates it to the.
Elevates. What are you implying about literature?
It's a game, bro. This is a game.
I think you mean.
I don't
If
know.
nothing
I
else, I
think-
think,
I
by
think
the
you mean-
virtue that it's on a computer running in a program with an engine as its backend, and the fact that there are mechanics and you can lose, more than makes it a game in
Yeah,
that respect.
I feel like it just
But
it just
if
works
but,
on.
but if you
know.
die in the story,
Because you can't
does
you
that
can't
it-
lose a Mark Twain novel.
Yeah,
well, no,
exactly.
but here's the thing: in a novel, the protagonist can die, and in this story, the protagonist can die. But is that losing in this context? Because it might just be the story of how this character died. Because like novels can just do that; they can just tell the story of how a person
Sure,
died.
they can, but in this case, I think it's more of the line between protag and you as the reader gets blurred. You're kind of meant to project onto this, and your
But that's
thoughts
by
and your actions
design.
do
Like
affect
you
the outcome.
you can
Yes,
like that's up to the
the
designers to
design
decide.
of a game.
Because here's something that I was going to bring up is that I think that choose your own adventure as a thing relies way too heavily on turning the reader into the protagonist, and I reckon you could if you wanted to make a choose your own adventure story where you're not actually you're not a specific character, and you also don't control the decision making of one specific character. You can like just choose how the story goes in any number of which ways, and then try to generate meaning based on how different each of the paths are, but not
But
necessarily.
I think that's only possible when I think there's more than one player. I don't know if that's possible just with the one. If I might have your meaning a bit wrong there. I might have misunderstood the.
Maybe it's a little bit hard to explain. What does chat say?
So chat, I'm going to go through a thread.
I'm gonna
Hey,
take a guess.
CCC,
Chat
this
says,
is from
"Get on
Electra."
with it."
No, actually, they're with us in this conversation.
Yeah.
Someone Electra saying, "Hey, CCC, yeah, there are a lot of nonlinear books that sort of predate computers, or at least game-capable computers, especially in the avant-gardes of the '60s. The improvement of Middle Europe and lexicon of a sentimental journey to the expert meeting in Druden." And then it just ends there because I haven't typed the next bit.
Right.
I'd also say too, with the framing that we have in this argument, then is D&D a game? You could argue then that D&D is just you observing the story of what happens to those characters, and if they die, they die. Is D&D in itself, according to your definitions of what makes a game or not, a game?
I would say that's a game. I think anything.
I would also say that's a game. Although,
Yeah.
I have a friend
Because that's a very
who
similar thing to what's happening here.
I have a friend who's a game master for tabletop, and he actually refuses to call himself a game master. He calls himself a storyteller.
That's fair.
And
That's fair.
he doesn't call his campaigns games. He calls them stories. And so he
But
kind of
I think storytelling can be.
he
yeah.
doesn't play D&D. He's like me. We both hate D&D because we feel like
Yeah.
the dice have too much power. And so what he does is he treats his campaigns, if you want to call them that, as more of like improv theater, where you roll the dice only if you want there to be some uncertainty as to what the outcome is.
Right.
Yeah, and the system that he uses is World of Darkness. So like the campaign he played was Beast, the Primordial, and I was in that. And my character was a beast who was able to turn into paint. I based him off of the picture of Dorian Gray, and most of the time we
gosh.
weren't like dice rolling. We were just kind of like doing improv theater back and forth, which was fun. But I
Sounds interesting.
like I wouldn't call that a game based on my experience of it. I would say it's much more close to improv theater, but.
Yeah, in that
But-
aspect, it loses the game aspect a bit.
Yeah,
and
but I
Yeah.
would say when
improv.
I would say when I played D&D that one time that certainly felt like a game to me.
Right.
Yeah. Mainly because I felt like I was heavily restricted by what the D&D engine, if you can call it that, was able to output. Like
You felt
I
restricted.
I felt restricted because whenever we were in combat, I felt like my options were limited to I hit him with my sword, or I cast the spell at the enemy, or something like that, and then I just roll the die, and then the die would decide whether or not it succeeded or failed. Here's an
Right.
interesting
Honestly, that seems like a
here's an
bit of a
interesting
fault.
mechanic from World of Darkness. I think in Beast as well, because they're meant to be horror and you're meant to generate horror stories. And in World of Darkness, you can elect to fail a roll on purpose. So you can
Oh,
say,
okay.
my character attempts to do this, but I, the player, choose to fail the roll.
Oh,
And
nice. Okay.
there's no such thing as a critical fail from the dice, but if you fail a roll at any point, including one that you choose to fail, you can say make it a critical fail, and then it's up to the game master to then, at that make that failure spectacular. Rather than the die coming up nat 1 and that being, that being like, and then the game might be, okay, now this moment you have a critical fail. And like, yeah, it's less surprising when it does that, but I feel like it has more opportunity for much better improv storytelling.
I can see the pros and cons of each way of doing it. But going back to how you were feeling limited by, all I'm going to do is move here. Oh, I'm going to swing my sword. Now, that seems honestly like a bit of a fault either with, it seems like a bit of a fault with the game master. Because D&D, when played with a good GM or DM, whatever you want to call them, can be basically as free as the improv theater you were doing with your friend. Because a good D&D session, at least in my mind, is, hey, I know I'm a barbarian with a club, and that dude's 50 feet away. I'm going to throw it at him. And DM's going to be like, screw it. Go for it. Roll. If you roll high enough, go nuts. You threw it at him.
Right.
Versus the no, you have to stay on the board. What do you mean you want to throw your club? That's not allowed. Like that's rubbish. But like a good game of D&D has, I think, as much improv in it as dice rolling.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like my friend has probably convinced me too thoroughly that D&D is not the optimal experience for this type of thing.
Should play with me sometime.
Maybe. Should we get back to this fucking choice of
one more thing,
broadsides?
right before we continue, if we want to get really pedantic with what makes a game, Roman Invicta so kindly in the chat, according to Wikipedia, a video game is an electronic game that involves interaction with a user interface to generate visual feedback on a video device such as a TV screen or computer monitor. So if you want to get really pedantic, there it is.
I mean,
you call this visual feedback,
game.
but if that's true, then any interaction with an electronic computer with a display is a game.
I mean, people do talk about social media being gamified. The idea.
I know,
of,
but
of
if I'm typing out my script on fucking Google Docs, am I playing a game because I'm interacting with a digital user interface that spits out visual feedback?
Well, you got to remember.
I feel like that definition
is
is
an electronic game. You doing a script, that's work.
Right, but
itself, I don't think
but hang on. If the term
It's not
video
just a
game
user
has the
interface.
word game in its definition, then that doesn't solve our problem. Because I didn't ask, is this a video game? I asked, is this a game?
Is this a game? Yeah.
And if a video game is an electronic game, then we still have to define what a game is.
I will say when I did drama classes, they refer to improv exercises as games. They refer to them as we're going to play a game. What game are we going to play?
Theater games, yeah.
Yeah. So I think if those can be games, I think books can
be games.
games Yeah.
God, we've
Sorry, just hearing that sentence
We've
on
gone
its own.
full circle in the wrong direction.
Books can be games.
Games can be books.
Hey, Telltale tried.
That is true.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
No, you know what? I'm gonna be even more pedantic. I think books can be games, but games can't be books. I think that's true.
They seem like mutually exclusive statements, and we are never gonna just get back to this fucking like.
I feel like
story.
a video game is a medium, and game is like it applies broadly. I think it's a different series of categories.
Alright,
just to get
actually,
the Galaxy Brain take out there.
That does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, where
But
were we? What were we doing?
The top
We
of this
all our
page.
crew are now trembling because.
Oh yeah, because we've decided to attack 3 giant ships in our dingy little frigate.
No, to be fair, chat killed us.
Chat killed us.
That's true. We can blame them.
Yeah. No, you know
Unnamed
who
Buffy
really
in the
killed
chat, like,
us?
is this
This
game theory?
argument. Your officers are rather less enthused when you call them to the quarterback. They have seen what awaits in Tri-Mountain Harbor 2, and they exchange grim looks after you lay out the situation. Bannister speaks first. The commander-in-chief has to be warned as quickly as possible. She states flatly, if all 3 of the Columbian frigates are here, then even the courageous might need assistance from the rest of the squadron to face them.
That's a bit sassy.
However, we do not have the option of rendering that service ourselves, Pakenham observes. We have discovered the enemy's lair, and they know that as well as we do. The instant we depart over the horizon, they shall find some new anchorage, and we shall be back where we started. Your second lieutenant nods in agreement. We must take a prize, and use that ship to ferry our dispatches to the Admiral while we maintain the blockade. Pakenham frowns at that, and she isn't the only one. Taking a
This is
prize
the
in these
stupidest
conditions won't be
point.
easy. The Colombians know better than to sail for the open ocean with an Albanian frigate patrolling the approaches. Any ship willing to chance it would either have to be very fast or very desperate. I think we are getting a bit ahead of ourselves, Burrows interjects. I'd like to get a closer look at those frigates before we commit ourselves. They look ready for sea, but it might be a bluff. I think it'd be best to make certain. Your other officers look to you as they ponder that. Pakenham seems to agree. Bannister looks dubious. They turn to you. Alerting the commander-in-chief is our first priority. I would like to take a closer look. Let us not go half-cocked. The crew need preparation yet.
They keep stopping us from getting to the good stuff. We
I
gotta.
think we should prepare and then tell the chief.
Oh, right. So you think alerting the commander-in-chief?
No, like, but our crew's also not totally ready yet. I think
That
better
that
to
is
prepare
true.
for whatever happens, and then send word out.
But what if we're preparing and then the Colombians are like, aha, and then boom, and we're dead?
So
Hmm.
Burrows was the one who suggested take a closer look. So Bannister,
possible
yeah,
they're not
Bannister
ready yet.
says the commander-in-chief has to be warned. And then Pakenham, it was, we don't have the option of rendering that service ourselves. We've discovered the enemy's lair, and they know that as well as we do. The instant we depart over the horizon, and we shall be back where we started. We must take a prize and use that ship to ferry our dispatches to the Admiral while we maintain the blockade. So, alerting the commander-in-chief is Bannister's suggestion. Take a closer look is Boris's suggestion. The crew need preparation is Pakenham's suggestion. So, but Pakenham seems to agree with Boros. Bannister does not agree with Boros. I feel like I would like to take a closer look as the safe option.
Okay.
Alerting the commander-in-chief as our first priority is sort of sticking to the books, doing what Bannister wants you to do. And then
Right.
I'm actually not sold on the crew need preparation at all.
Okay.
I'll trust you with this one. Let's
And trust
see
me
if we
with this
can
one.
Make it out of this alive.
Yeah.
Does anyone else want to go with either alerting the commander or take a closer look? I feel like alerting the commander-in-chief is not within character for our
Swashbuckling.
swashbuckling
Yeah.
gung-ho character. So yeah, I would like to take a closer look. One wishes
Because if
it
they're
were
not
as
ready, we can
easily
test
said
them on
as done, ma'am, Pakenham observes. The enemy's forts over the approaches. The enemy's forts cover the approaches. They will have cannon pointed at every possible approach by sea, but not by land, Captain Mercer interjects. We could put ashore a small party in local clothing, then have them simply approach the city on the main road like a gaggle of common grocers. Excuse me. A city like Tri-Mountain must have thousands of visitors a day. It shan't be difficult to get in and take a look. If they don't run into the militia anyhow, Burrus replies, it may be better to approach by boat, perhaps under cover of night, or by using the coast as cover from the enemy guns. They could slip in, hide amongst the merchant hulls, record their findings, and slip out again. None of the plans are without risk. If a landing party is discovered by the Colombian militia, they will have to fight their way out. Yet infiltrating a boat under the cover of night would require a great deal of skill in seawomanship. And without exact layouts of the Colombian batteries, trying to use the coast for cover would be a matter of guesswork. Worst of all, you shall not be able to lead this endeavour yourself. The Royal Navy has too few captains to risk on such expeditions, and the Admiralty has written standing orders to that effect. If your decision were to prove the wrong one, someone else would suffer for it. So we send a scouting party by land. A night infiltration by boat seems the best option. We shall send a party by boat using the coast as cover. I feel like I'm feeling night infiltration by boat.
Yeah, I feel like the coast is cover thing has too many unknowns because we don't know where they are or coast goes, so it's way too many unknowns there.
Yeah.
Land seems like it could be a good option, but I
well,
feel like
land is a good option.
Stick out.
I mean, the risk of the land option is that it's hard for them to escape.
Right.
And whereas the risk for what was the risk for the night option?
Not much.
No.
Require a great deal of skill in seawomanship. But
That's
we
the
have been
coast.
training. Here's the thing: we have been training our crew in seawomanship. We've trained them how to sail, but the
Yeah.
stats haven't changed yet.
I say night infiltration.
Night infiltration. It is no easy business to prepare for a nighttime reconnaissance. For 5 days, you and your officers pore over every chart of Tri-Mountain Harbour that you have available, while the crew perform the laborious task of painting the ship's cutter black and muffling the oars with wads of oakum. At last, with the details of the approach set and the cutter made ready, your scouting party departs just before midnight, under command of Markham, one of your senior midshipwomen. As the hours pass by and the sun begins to rise, they still do not return. You can only wait the day and hope that your little expedition has merely been stranded by daylight, and that they have not been discovered so deep within the beast's den. Then, just after sunset, the mouth of Tri-Mountain Harbour lights up with flashes of musket fire. Shouts echo across the water as a dark shape pulls hard for the Foraker's bows, with a pair of longboats in hot pursuit. As the first boat pulls within musket shot, you see 2 long flashes from a hooded lantern at its bow. The signal. The 2 boats giving chase open up with ragged volleys. You hear someone scream and fall into the water with a splash. But before they can fire again, Captain Mercer's Marines pay them back in kind, driving the Colombian guard boats back to the safety of the harbour. Within minutes, your cutter is alongside, but only a handful of the scouting party are alive to clamber up the side.
Oh god.
Oh no! To clamber up the side. Paul Wang, this is your fault, and we know it's your fault because your name is right here.
On every page.
Yeah.
We were still inside the harbour when the sky began to lighten, Markham reports ruefully. So we slipped the cutter between 2 of the docked ships, hid ourselves under the tarpaulin, and waited for darkness to escape. We'd nearly gotten away when someone must have spotted us. We lost 3 dead to the fire from the guard boats, and another 5 wounded besides. A pity, a damned pity.
A damned pity.
A shame. But did you discover anything? Never mind that. What did you discover? So how much of an asshole are we?
I think number 2 because it should be like if you didn't discover anything, then the deaths were for nothing.
Yeah,
Right.
I think number 2 as well, because then you get to find out. You get to appease them while finding out what's going on.
In truth, the loss of 8
Whoa.
trained hands to such a stroke of poor fortune stings more than just a little, but you will lose a lot more unless you keep your crew focused on the mission at hand. We got a close look at all 3 frigates in the harbour, Markham replies. The Delmarva's there, so's the Chancellor and the Charter. You nod. 3 of the Colombian Navy's most formidable ladies of war. But you had known all that already. What is their condition? Excuse me. Charter is laid up. He is covered with women. but they are carpenters and shipwrights, not sailors. The Chancellor seems entirely deserted, yet that is not the queerest thing of all, ma'am. The queerest thing is all the lesbianism.
Well, he just said
yeah.
they were covered with women, so.
God damn
Yeah.
it.
Okay, there's a joke that has to be made. I wish I was covered with women. Okay, I made the joke. Yeah, whatever. We can move on now.
Obligatory joke made.
You find yourself leaning forward in interest. The fact that Charter is in no state to sail is a relief. Chancellor's lack of crew is certainly strange, but that could simply mean that his company is ashore on leave. But if Markham's eye has picked out something even stranger. We saw several wagons full of provisions being unloaded, and more full of cannon. But all of them are going aboard Delmarva. None go to Chancellor or Charter, not even to feed a skeleton crew. I am reluctant to speculate, ma'am, but go on. Markham swallows nervously and breathes out her conclusion in a final tumble of words. One could almost think that the Colombians currently only have the resources to send out one of their frigates to sea. Aha!
Oh, that turns things then. We might be able to beat one.
The implications do not escape you. If Markham's observations are correct, then you face the prospect of not facing 3, but only 1 of the Colombian frigates in Tri-Mountain Harbor.
You
Though
want me to
each
take
of the
over for a bit, saying I'm the only not sick one.
I'll finish this page. Though each of the black-hulled monsters still outguns Foraker by a wide margin, it would mean that you could approach a potential confrontation with at least some chance of victory. Beyond that, the fact that 2 of the Colombian Navy's 6 heavy frigates are currently in no shape to sail is intelligence of vital importance to the wider war. Excuse me. Lieutenant Bannister says as much as at your weekly officers' conference. Admiral Warwick must know of this, ma'am, she insists. A full third of the enemy's heaviest ships are out of action. Surely the Commander-in-Chief or the Admiralty could use this intelligence to some profitable end. Pakenham and Boros nod in agreement, but Captain Mercer remains pensive. Forgive me, ma'am, if I have overlooked some finer point of sea service, she finally says, but if the Delmarva is still taking on stores, does that not mean that he is still in the midst of preparations? If we could contrive some way to lure them to battle before such preparations were complete, would it not be likely that he would be lacking some vital implement of war, or perhaps that his company would be imperfectly trained? The Marine officer has a point, but there can be no question of luring the Delmarva into battle until your orders are fulfilled. Admiral Warwick and the Courageous must be warned.
There's also a lot of assumptions there.
Do you want to take over, Dalaro?
Yeah, I'll do it. The next few days bring with it a freak squall, the likes of which every sailor knows to fear as the possible harbinger of worse weather to come. Yet the next day the sky is utterly cloudless, and remains so for the rest of the week. Though the winds blow calm and steady out to sea, Tri-Mountain Harbor remains quiet. Not a ship sets sail. Your officers seem equal parts relieved and anxious as you call them in at the end of the week. Yet still they must look to you for orders. What is your next step? We must take a prize and send it to Admiral Warwick with our intelligence. What is the state of our crew? They may need more time. Well, that one just kind of loops. We might as well see how they're getting on.
Yeah.
Your officers deliver their reports, one after the other, giving you a clear picture of the state of Foraker's company. You have enough crew to sail the ship and fight the guns, but only okay, so that's the same as before. The gun crews are tolerable, but just more than a match for the counterparts. They are far below any standard. Top one are barely acceptable. What have we been doing this whole time? I thought we've been running.
Huh.
To do without fault. Your officers await your conclusions. We are ready the crew needs another week of preparation, at least. Or, we are ready as we shall ever be. Let us consider further action. If they're not getting any better after this much time, screw it.
Let's
we're
all guns ahead.
Because
Yeah,
we're
we're
obviously
all-
not getting the training.
Yeah, seems like it. And also, like,
Burn them
this
down.
is morale, whereas we are ready as we'll ever be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
we
feel
burn
like
them down, that'll drive
I
morale
feel like
up.
we can sacrifice a little morale. You know, fuck those
Yeah.
guys. I mean, girls.
Yeah.
Oh, we only have one choice. What? Oh, right, because we
Yeah.
exhausted the other one.
Your officers offer murmurs of agreement. They mislike this inactivity as much as you do. Shall we endeavor to take a prize then? Lieutenant Bannister asks. Surely sending our dispatches to Admiral Warwick takes priority. Burroughs nods in agreement. Not only are 3 of the Colombian Navy's most powerful warships here, but we know for a fact that they lack the cannon and women to outfit more than one of them. That is intelligence that the Admiral ought to have as soon as possible. Again, your officers turn to you for a decision. Wonder what our choice is going to be.
Huh.
Our chiefest priority is to pass on our intelligence to Admiral Warwick.
Oh, at some point, I actually believe that this game came out before this was a thing. But
What's that?
their engine at some point was updated so that choices that you are not able to make are grayed out. But beforehand, choices that you weren't able to make simply were not available.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so there might be other choices here, but because of how we chose to play our character, you know, gallantry, discretion, whatever. We're not very discreet. We're very gallant, though. I do like these, like, you know, left or right things.
Oh wait, hold on. We've been looking at the wrong thing this whole damn time.
What?
So that stuff up top, sailing, gunnery, whatever else, that's us. What we should have
Oh,
been looking
crew
at is
strength.
crew sailing.
Right, yeah. Crew sail.
Oh,
Ah.
We're idiots.
We are idiots. This is our stats. This is our crew's stats. Our crew is looking pretty good. I like our
Yeah.
crew. It's nicely above
so
average.
Now we do have that buff. We have 55 sailing to the 50 gunnery.
Right, that makes a lot more sense.
Okay. I was like, why are we not getting any buffs?
It's because we suck. We rely entirely on our crew.
Hold on, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Can you take over, B-Mask?
Oh, sure. Then it must be a matter of taking a prize, Peckenham conjectures. I dare say it shall be easy enough to sail any seaworthy vessel back to the Courageous without unfortunate incident. But to acquire such a vessel, well, I don't believe such a suitable craft will simply fall into our hands. I wouldn't be so sure about that, ma'am, Burroughs replies. Whatever the fuck that name is a major trading port.
Tri-Mountain.
Screw it. When we were at peace, when we were at peace, ships would arrive by the dozen every day. Without that trade, the city must import its goods by land. Prices for things like cotton and sugar might well be astronomical by now. Surely there will be some captains desperate enough or foolish enough to run our blockade, especially seeing as we're only a single frigate. All we have to do is keep a weather eye and wait. So you do. For 5 days, Foraker lurks outside Harbour in a state of readiness, with every eye looking out for the sign of a ship looking to sneak in or out of the harbour, and every hand poised to set full sail and clear for action. For nearly a week, you wait for a ship willing to try their luck against Foraker and his crew. Then, on the 6th day, you find one. Yarr.
Yar.
He is a worn-out looking sloop, all sheets to the wind as you spot him trying to make a run for the open sea. You order Foraker cleared for action as the little craft passes out.
Okay. No.
Your order. Oof. Oh, your order Foraker cleared for action. I see.
Right.
Your order Foraker cleared for action as the little craft passes out from under the protection of Fort Liberty's guns and into the open waters of Trackmantown Bay. Your quarry rides quick before the wind, with the breeze filling his sails, but no sloop has the canvas to outrun a 38-gun frigate. Hour by hour, you gain on the Colombian vessel, until finally he is within the extreme range of the long 9-pounders mounted in Foraker's bows. The bow chaser booms, the shot arcs through the air as a black burr, and lands with a splash just a dozen yards to the. I cannot words today. And lands with a splash just a dozen yards to larboard of your target, a warning shot to show the Colombian that he is entirely at your mercy. Yet your quarry sails on. Do you want to take it back from here?
Yet, right?
No.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, we're still gaining.
All right, let's see. Did I miss anything important?
We're now chasing a ship that has tried to run our blockade.
Yeah. We're in action now.
Oh God! All right. Insolent fellas, ain't they? Pakenham observes languidly as she keeps an eye to her glass. One supposes one must expect such disregard for the customs of war from such rustics. Little racist, but whatever. Ought
Wow,
to have them whipped for
Pakenham.
their trouble. But that won't print well in the papers, one fears. Uh, all right. All right. You feel your own frustration mounting as well. Merchant captains ought to know when they are outmatched. A naval officer may have a duty to do her utmost to hinder an enemy. But surely the captain of a merchant vessel has no business risking the lives and well-being of her crew thumbing her nose at a 38-gun frigate. Then again, were you in command of that brave little sloop, would you not do the same? If we can overtake them and cut them off, they will surely surrender. We could use Foraker's bow chasers to bring down their rigging. We might be able to bluff them into giving up. We ain't that charismatic, but we're fast. I feel like the first one could work.
Our crew is really good at sailing.
Apparently, our audio is coming through really, really low. I'm not sure
okay.
whose
Hold
end
on.
that would be.
Hold on.
Do you have
No, I
your
can only
mouse
adjust my
button
own
set for
gain, I
the-
think. Hold on. I can turn you guys up and I can turn me up.
Okay.
So, yeah. How's this?
I think my mic gain is set as. Oh no, I can give myself a little higher gain, but it starts peaking for me.
Mm.
Like it starts
Oh,
going
so
into
it's
the
peaking
red.
for you.
I'm
I mean,
getting
if
as
you
high
turn
as
yours
can
down,
go.
I can turn my audio slider for the desktop audio up.
Okay.
Oh wait, hold on. I'm actually just realized that I'm streaming infinite OBS windows now.
Yeah.
Whoops.
they're
dear.
saying that yeah, this is pretty good.
Well,
Is
okay.
anyone-
Look, guys.
one of us lower than the other, or are we all about
No,
the same?
okay,
I think
I'll
this is what
just
I'm looking
say to the stream, or to the chat, to the audience.
There you go.
We spent like a good 20 minutes trying to get this stream ready, and because a thing that was ballsing it all up was that was that OBS for some reason wasn't capturing this window. So like I'd tell it to capture the window and it'd just be black and it wouldn't do anything. So I can't actually capture the game window. I can only see OBS agrees with me. It's not a game. So I have to stream full screen, which is why
Right.
I'm not going and reading your chat because I don't.
Do you not have a
what?
technical difficulties or BRB screen set up already?
No. I mean, I do. Actually, that might have been on my other computer. my old
set one up
laptop
with
is
studio
currently
mode.
in the middle of the Pacific.
Your what?
My old laptop that I had before this computer that I have now, it's now in the middle of the Pacific.
Oh right.
Because I hated
Oh.
it so much. So we are overtaking them and cutting them off, and they will surely surrender, right?
I think so. I hope so. We're like 3 times their size.
Yeah, do it.
It is not the subtlest approach by far, but at the sight of a Royal Navy frigate cutting off their escape route with gun ports open does not force that Colombian sloop to surrender. Nothing will. You order Boros to set all possible sail, and you do your best to catch up with the other vessel. Yet every time you seem to get close, the Colombian somehow manages to slip away. Once or twice, your courier evades you by less than a cable's length, almost as if he were deliberately taunting you. Foraker's company are less than amused, as hours turn to days. We've been chasing them for days?
Goodness.
Their patience begins to run out, both of the Colombians for leading them on such a tedious chase, and with you for having ordered them into this unhappy state in the first place.
I guess not much going on in pirate times, so they had to.
Finally,
It's a
after
Sunday chase.
3 days, you finally manage. Wait, hold on. Finally, after 3 days, you finally manage.
Ah.
Jeez.
Why?
Paul Wang, I'm highlighting your name again. This is your fault.
That'll show.
Finally, after 3 days, you finally managed to pin the enemy ship against the coast, finally. With your open gun ports on one side and the jagged rocks of Cabot's Hook on the other, the Colombian sloop finally strikes his colors. He is called the Antelope, Bannister reports as she returns after putting a prize crew on your newly acquired sloop. And by God is he a sickening sight. He's a crank, has an alarming list to port, His hull shows signs of being holed underneath the waterline at least once before. His timbers are old, his tiller is cracked. He mounts 8 4-pounders, which are both old and cracked. Were it not for his new sails, his empty hold, and his captain, he would have barely made it out of harbor, let alone given us all the trouble he did. But will he be able to carry our dispatches, you ask? Bannister frowns. Perhaps, with the right crew led by the right officer. You shall have to command, you reply. The midshipwomen are all too junior to be trusted with dispatches, and Pakenham must remain aboard Foraker as a senior lieutenant. I suppose as much, ma'am. Bannister sighs with more equanimity than some might have mustered. I shall inform the women. The Antelope's former captain is less than pleased with your plans. You can't just take my ship away from me, she protests indignantly when you make an inspection of the prize for yourself. It's all I got left. Antelope ain't no warship or nothing. I don't even like this war. Would have voted against it if I could. You won't even get any decent money for it, not without no cargo in the hold. She looks from you to the loads of supplies being carried aboard in a state of utmost agitation. Can't you at least tell me what you're planning on doing with my ship? It would only be civil to inform her. It can do little harm now. Nah, you don't need to know. I can explain in generalities, but nothing which might give away purpose. These are military secrets she's asking for, out of the question.
I'm furiously clicking on this one.
Generalities or like 2 or 3? I don't really
Out
care
of
either
the
one. I don't think
question,
it's gonna change too
I'm not
much.
telling military secrets to a fucking
Yeah, let's not give
to a
any
dirty
away.
Colombian. Oh god, I did it again.
Cloud.
Damn, I'm. Please
Classy
do not.
cooking country.
Yeah, whatever.
Cloud, your
dear.
British is showing.
Oh, my British is showing. I actually don't have British ancestry. I think I've just absorbed the culture of Australia. Everyone is racist.
Yeah.
I'm just doing that.
It would be imprudent to divulge our plans during a time of war, you reply firmly. I can assure you, however, that your crew will be in no danger. Imprudent, the Colombians scoff. You Navy women are all the same. Your opposite numbers in Tremountain like trying to keep their secrets too, speaking in codes and riddles like there's some kind of bad play. Pretend like those frigates they got set sail at any moment when every idiot in the city knows they ain't even got the trained hands to crew more than one of them at a time.
Every Egypt, are they Irish? Oh, every Egypt in the city. Oh,
Every agent in the city knows.
they ain't even got trained hands. Oh, gosh, bigora.
All of my ships were laden with potatoes. You gotta make a potato joke.
Oh yeah, of course.
I get up in the morning. I had a potato and a Guinness for breakfast.
I have a potato and a river dance, and then I go out and
Jesus.
I grab a shamrock from the Shire, and then I go home.
All those
The
British
Big O is
people who
right.
have teas for breakfast, that never gets me up in the morning. I always have a
Oh
Guinness.
gosh, Jesus! Then I go kiss the Blarney Stone and have a little jig.
Jesus Christ. Chat's correct. The hit Aussie tune, Everyone is Racist.
So my sister is tuned into the stream and she's just sent me a
Oh,
text.
good.
She's just sent me a text message. We actually do have British ancestry.
Oh, there you go.
Whoops.
I figured as much.
Yeah, given you.
I was going to say just Australia in general. No need to get personal.
Yeah.
with-
No. I just meant like just knowing Australia.
We're all criminals.
Careful, be masked. Your British is showing.
I can neither confirm nor deny the amount of Britishness on display here.
Hey, B-Mask, aren't we supposed to be at each other's throats over cricket or something?
I mean, if either of us played it,
No, I mean like something to do with the Ashes.
maybe it's probably in a book somewhere, but I don't.
Isn't the story about that the Brits kept beating the Australians at cricket all the time and won the trophy every single time, and then the first time the Australians won, the British fucking burned the trophy instead of sending it to Australia.
Petty as hell.
And that's how it got its name, the Ashes.
That's pretty fantastic if that's the case. I never heard that before. That's really great if that is true.
Yeah.
Fire is the ultimate petty weapon.
Yes.
Like the French set the White House on fire because they're like, if you can't have it, no one can.
Damn.
Anyway, The Colombian captain's words linger in your head as you oversee the transferal of the prize crew's sea chest, Banish's assumption of command, and the dispatch boat's final departure, headed for the open sea and the friendly squadron which lies lurking somewhere over the horizon. It is still repeating itself in your thoughts when Foraker returns to his previous position outside Tramountain Harbor. The scouting reports were accurate after all. Out of the 3 frigates in Tramountain Harbor, only the Delmarva has hands enough to sail. I still think we could take one. If they had anyone else, I'd be like, no, we got to bounce.
Yeah.
Your officers do not hesitate to make their views known when you convene for your weekly conference. This Colombian's account corroborates our own findings precisely, Burroughs declares. 2 of those frigates in Tri-Mountain Harbor are nothing but empty shells, a bluff. Those still aren't good odds, but they will certainly be fair enough if we are forced to fight. Or if we provoke them, Captain Mercer adds. That Colombian says the enemy is short on women, and our own reports say that they have yet to finish refitting the ship they can crew. What? And our own reports say that they have yet to finish refitting the ship they can crew.
That would be the one of their ships they're able to crew because it's ready, but
Okay, yeah, I feel like there's something like missing in there,
yeah.
but whatever.
Yeah.
If we were to incite the enemy to action immediately, while the preparations are yet incomplete, we shall have the advantage. Our odds will never be better, man.
So here's a decision. It's do we want to wait for reinforcements and give them a chance to prepare,
Finish up.
or
Yeah.
do we want to attack them now by ourselves and take them by surprise? I feel like our swashbuckling lady captain is gonna charge in guns ablazing. Leslie Jenkins. Was it her? It wasn't Leslie Jenkins who came up with it. was it?
No, I think it just
I'm
keeps
pretty sure it
changing
was
every
just
time.
Lisa Jenkins, but Leslie is funnier, so let's go with that. Leslie Jenkins.
Yeah.
What
I
do we
feel
want?
like giving them more time.
We
might
want
lead
more
to something
time,
else
or
happening.
I want a Leslie Jenkins. B-Mask, what do you want?
I could go for a Leslie Jenkins.
Leslie Jenkins? I'm sure.
Leslie.
Does chat want Leslie Jenkins? I mean,
Chat loves Leslie Jenkins.
obviously, chat wants the Leslie Jenkins. I'm
Yeah.
trying to
Didn't
manufacture
stop
a
him
meme
last time.
here. This never works.
Didn't you try to force a meme in one of your bookboarding videos that I had to like animate or something?
No.
In fucking Vegas.
I don't remember. I think it was The Urge or something.
Might have been The Urge.
I mean, yeah, the urge, flames, passion.
That's
you got a
another one.
couple. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I keep remembering that whenever I try to turn something into a meme deliberately, people always ignore it and just go for something else instead. You can't make
Yeah.
memes. Yeah.
No.
I'm like that fucking whatever that woman's name is from that E3 that one year. I want to pitch a meme.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh dear.
Jesus.
I was like
Memes are not made. They're
Dude.
bored.
yeah, pitching a meme is just the most like corporate. I'm not in any
How do you
way,
do,
like-
fellow kids?
Yeah.
I've always said it's like a fart. If you have to force it, it's probably a shit. I follow that a lot in life.
That doesn't apply to me because I have Crohn's disease.
Oh no.
Oh God, my bowels.
Okay, chat.
Chat.
Do
what
we-
do
do we let
what do
them-
they want?
Do we Leslie or do we wait?
I feel like my chat is the kind of chat that would say,
That'll
"Nah, let's
Leslie."
wait it out," just to piss me off.
I mean, they worked with you last time,
They did,
and that
Okay.
actually led to pretty good results
What
here
does
because we
chat
would have
say?
never known that
I
they
can't
didn't
go
have
over to that
people.
window.
Oh, right. They were the ones who chose, fuck it, let's go and attack them and see what's going on. Where I was like, no, we have to leave. But it ended up working
Leslie
out.
Jenkins, let's go.
That's Leslie. All right. It's a fine intention, but the Colombians are no fools. If you wish to draw them out to battle on your terms, then you will need to compel them to sail using a method more convincing than mere wishful thinking.
Oh.
Judging by the looks on your officers' faces, they know it too. If one is to draw the enemy out for the sake of acquiring advantage, there is no reason one cannot be civil about it, Pakenham notes. One could deliver a formal challenge, appeal to the Colombian captain's honor. I beg your pardon, miss. Burroughs interjects
Ms.
incredulously. A formal challenge in this modern age, in this sort of war, under these circumstances, against this sort of enemy, with the intent of localizing its effects solely to the captain of the Delmarva. Pakenham seems unruffled. Yes. Could you at least offer any guarantee it would work? No, your first lieutenant replies flatly. Does one have a better idea? I do, the sailing mistress replies. If I were the captain of that ship, I would much rather go out to sea unopposed and fight my way through an enemy lady of war to break out. Fighting a frigate action is risky. The Colombians know that as well as we do. Even if they fight Foraker and win, they'll still lose crew and sustain damage they may have to spend weeks to repair. If we pretend to withdraw, the Delmarva's captain would be sorely tempted to make for open waters before we returned or were replaced by some other Albionian ship. Then all we'd need to do is lie in wait until we can cut him off from safe harbor, and we shall have a favorable engagement. Burroughs' plans might work, but then again, so might Pakenham's. Then again, perhaps there is a better third option. But that is not for them to decide. You are Foraker's captain, and at this moment, only your decision matters. Formal challenge, I think, is just out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when you're outgunned and outwomaned, it's all about getting every advantage you can get.
Why use words when we have cannon? Bombard the city until Delmarva comes out.
Oh, come on, we're not packing them.
We'll feign retreat, then catch
I like the feigning retreat. I like that one. Because then we catch them by surprise with our superior sailing.
Yeah. Crew morale is down.
We've been out here for weeks.
Yeah.
I'd imagine so. Took us 3 days to catch a merchant ship. I'd be pretty bummed too.
Yeah.
Goodness, that is also actually a bit weird. Let's try a formal challenge and hope our adversaries prove women of honor. Feign retreat. All right. Is that what we're doing?
I think that's a good idea, but you're ultimately the one in control of the mouse. You could say, "Screw it, I'm doing what I want."
I'm curious
I'm vetoing this democracy.
I'm curious to bomb the city, but yeah, it's probably smart if we feign retreat.
I also want to bomb the city.
Just to know.
No.
Just to be the asshole.
We're a swashbuckler. We're not a murderer. That's Pakenham's job. She's the one who wants to crush the Colombians.
Maybe she'll take over and just do it anyway. Maybe this is a zero-sum game.
Oh god.
Maybe we'll suffer a mutiny and then Pakenham will take over the ship and be like, I'm gonna bomb all the cities.
Yeah.
Oh, feign retreat.
Yeah.
I was really worried this was going to flip on me.
No.
Pakenham shoots Burroughs a dubious look, but says nothing. You have made your decision. Now all that remains is to execute it. You order Foraker to wear away and head for the open ocean, feigning retreat. In fact, to most of the crew, it seems as if you are retreating. There are some that scratch their heads, but few raise questions. After all, it is not uncommon for Royal Navy captains at sea to receive sealed orders which command them to do the improbable, or even the nonsensical. So the crew keep mum as you sail out of Tremountain Bay, as you and Mrs. Burroughs pick out a likely place to lay in ambush. You end up choosing a secluded cove just a few miles away from the Tremountain harbor. Once hidden behind the outcroppings of rock and stands of pine, you furl your sails, drop your anchor, and wait. Also, since I'm speaking to an Australian and a British person, what the hell is mum's the word? What does that come from?
I'm not actually sure. I know it has a British origin.
It's short for mumble. Mumble.
Is it short for mumble? Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
We have any British people in chat? Enlighten.
Uh-oh, looks like we've made a bad choice.
Oh, no.
And wait. For 5 days, you wait inside that cove. Your lookout's watching for any sign that Delmarva might be getting ready to set sail. Nothing. Perhaps you have concealed her ship imperfectly. Perhaps you have underestimated the Colombian's captain's caution, or her cunning. Disappointed, you order Foraker to return to his prior station in Tremountain Bay.
Huh.
Well then.
What? Okay.
If you mean to draw the Delmarva out, you'll have to find
just...
some other means to do it.
I don't think that affected our stats. Try offering the captain a formal challenge. Force the opponent's hand by bombarding Tremountain. So basically, do we want to be gentle, womanly, or do we want to be a complete asshole?
It's such a hard choice because
No,
in
this
a
is this,
formal
this, this
challenge,
is this is
I see this like
basically
as
Paragon or Renegade in Mass Effect. Paragon or Renegade.
don't put it like that because my first thought is Team 4 Star and I have to go Renegade for life.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
Bombard
Vegeta
the
all the
fucking
way.
city. Cause needless deaths of innocent people to achieve your purposes.
Yes. Yes. And then we go through a massive character arc when we join the Martians. It all works.
Yeah. Here's something that I actually thought about was kind of a bit dumb in like RPG choose your own adventure games, is that the main character doesn't really seem to go through an arc a lot of the time if the writers are intent on the players projecting themselves onto that character.
I think it's because trying to write an arc into that system, you'd have to be a super genius to keep track of all the different possibilities that
Well,
could
I reckon
that
it
could
can
get
be
you to
done
that
if
place.
you abandon the whole like my character is me whole like
Yes.
shenanigans.
Yeah.
Like I think the Witcher games actually are fine in term. I actually think they benefit a lot from the main character of the game just being his own character rather than being an avatar for the player.
Yeah.
But the player can still like make choices and decisions and whatever But yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Definitely possible.
So should we be an asshole?
Chat
Yeah,
seems to think so.
Let's do it.
Let's
And
do it.
I feel like in a 1v1 in a fair fight, we're gonna lose.
Whatever.
Sorry, Colombian people. No ill will meant to you, but
Sorry, Tri-Mountain citizens. You're gonna die today.
it is far from the most civilized measure, but it'll work. No captain of any navy worthy of the name would stand by and let an enemy bombard the houses and families of her countrywomen without answer. Not if she had the means to stop it under her command. You are loath to prey upon the finer feelings of your opponent thus, but in war, such things must be necessary. The next hours are spent in frantic preparation, the starboard guns wedged up to their highest possible elevation as their crews are briefed on what they must do. The rest of Foraker's company spend the afternoon shifting ballast in the hold to induce an intentional list to port, to eke a few more precious degrees of elevation out the starboard broadside. In your cabin, you and your officers pore over charts of Tri-Mountain's harbor, trying to find the approach which will put you under the fire of as few enemy guns as possible. Then, the next morning, Foraker tacks towards the open mouth of Tri-Mountain Harbor, runs out its starboard guns, and brings them to bear on the unsuspecting city beyond. Foraker's starboard broadside erupts in a cataclysm of smoke and flame and thunder, hurling blurry specks of black iron towards the crowded streets of Tri-Mountain. Foraker's guns are no howitzers or mortars. They cannot lob explosive shells or carcass shot, or any of the other traditional means by which a ship might rain fire and destruction upon a city. Yet when the solid iron shot of your ship's broadside plow into the cobbled streets and punch holes through the elegant houses of Tri-Mountain's harbor front, it is not to life or property that they do the most harm. The screams start almost immediately. You can hear them, even 1.5 miles away.
Ugh.
The air fills with cries for help, the roar of crowds and the ringing of bells from 100 church steeples. The cacophony of a city which has suddenly realized it is under attack. For a moment, a second broadside blots out sound and image, but when the smoke clears again, the chaos is redoubled. You can imagine the havoc which Foraker's guns must be wreaking now, the fear which must have been caused by such an attack, by the sight of familiar sights and faces being shattered to pieces by a storm of iron. All the visceral horror of a naval battle brought with violent suddenness upon a populace which had never seen the like before.
Tri-Mountain will remember this.
You do not manage to get a third broadside off before the Colombians deliver a reply. Tri-Mountain's shore batteries erupt in smoke, and it soon becomes clear that you have either overestimated your own distance from your foes or underestimated the skill of Fort Putnam's gun crews. The first salvo slashes into the water not a dozen yards short of Foraker's stern. The deck buckles under you as the second strikes home, punching through your frigate's oaken hide like a bayonet through a sheet of paper.
Okay.
The air fills with screams of agony as splinters the size of broadswords scythe through the packed deck below you. The surgeon will be busy today. Some of your women begin to lose heart, but you dare not order the retreat. You mustn't let the enemy know that you will be scared away by fortress guns. You fire off a few more broadsides and allow Foraker to stagger under yet another hit, before ordering Foraker to wear away to leave Tremountain to repair its wreckage and bury its dead. And for you to do the same.
Jeez.
Jeez.
The next day, you order a repeat showing, yet Foraker is still far out of range when a shout from the top sends you reaching for your glass. Your eye is drawn to it the very instant you bring your glass up. Delmarva is moving. His decks swash with movement, his mast crawling with animated specks as the black-hulled frigate slides slowly towards the harbor mouth.
Oh.
Was he drawn out by your ruse? Or does the Delmarva's captain finally think he's prepared to sail? What did the captain be? Oh no, I guess he is referring to the boat, right? Not the captain.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah. So
suppose it
does the captain think
Del-
the boat is ready to set sail? That could make sense.
You suppose it doesn't matter now. With a sluggish inevitability, the Colombian frigate slides out between the harbor batteries, his spindly mast disappearing beneath an unfurling expanse of new canvas. You watch the Colombian carefully as Foraker gets underway, wearing towards shore to intercept the foe. Faced with the sudden revelation of your ruse, Delmarva's captain might yet choose to refuse battle. But no, the other frigate does not waver in his course. The Colombian is clearly as intent on settling accounts. One by one, his gun ports open and iron muzzles run out in menacing, sleek sides as he drives towards you and Foraker under full sail. It has finally come to this. Delmarva is giving battle.
I want to show stats. Our crew morale. Yeah, morale is going down.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going down.
But a
As it
victory against the
comes-
frigate could be fantastic.
Chapter 3.
Chapter 3.
The battle with the Delmarva. Do we want to call it here? We've been going for I think about 3 hours.
I
Is
might
it?
have to.
No.
I might have to call it because it's half midnight here.
Right, yeah.
Oh, snap.
Well,
We can always pick this up another day.
Yeah, we can.
That's
always,
true,
Yeah,
that's
this,
true.
This does save your progress.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for joining me. And
Oh,
hope
you trying
had
to do the
fun.
outro now?
No, not really. Whatever.
Hey everyone. doing
Don't
the
forget to
little
like,
entertainment
share, and
voice.
subscribe. Do we want to like make this a thing? Like, do we want to continue this?
Like reading this
Did you
or
have fun
playing this game?
Did you have fun enough
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you'd want
this
to
was
do
cool.
it again?
Yeah, it's all right. It's a fun little time waster.
Oh yeah, I feel like it's very on theme for me. 'Cause-
Well, that's the thing. It's a really, I think for you, it's a really good way of doing some dynamic content for these live streams. I think that's a really good
yeah.
choice for you. So well done.
Thank,
that one
out. My whole thing
thank
is-
you.
Like I have a Let's Play channel, and so I kind of just play a little of everything. So this is pretty much on brand for me too. Why not?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so you want to wrap it up, Cloud?
Yeah,
Tell your
I'll wrap it
chat
up.
thank you and all that.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I love you all. Not really. You're all just nice. But I do appreciate you being in my audience. Sorry I couldn't look at the chat today. I'll see if I can sort out OBS or whatever. And thanks for tuning in. Hope you had fun. Have a good night.
Hold on, before we go,
Okay.
where BMask, where can we find you and other places if they enjoyed your company?
I'm so glad you asked. You can find me at _. No wait, I always get this wrong. You can find...
It's your channel, mate.
I know,
Go to
I
his
for-
channel. It's good.
You can find just type in BMask
In
on
fact,
YouTube,
you know
and
what?
oh
Let-
look, there I am. There's
Hold
Sly
on,
Cooper.
I got this.
Yeah.
Is it _mask?
No, what is that? The dash. The B-mask. No, it's at B_mask_. But you can find me at B-mask. So it's there.
I'm gonna type in BMask, see what comes up.
There we go. I'm sure that'll work.
Okay. All right. So for people in chat, since BMask doesn't know his own channel name, Actually, hold up. Because I don't want to use my own personal YouTube thingy. I'm gonna send it in Discord so you can send it. That way you can also have your name in the chat.
Ah, there you go.
So, bam, send that to the peeps.
Okay.
And you,
Thank you very much.
also, your channel is apparently B-Space Mask.
I know. It's for some reason like everywhere I went, the name had been taken in some form or another. So
Oh dear.
there I am on the chat. There it is.
Are
Yeah.
you? I don't see. Oh, it might
Oh.
be slow mode right now.
Yeah, it's
It might come up in a second.
my internet's probably it's like I said
Catching
before.
up.
Yeah, it's got the ping of the Mars rover, so it's probably taking a little while to head on up there.
Oh yeah.
Give me 1 second.
This is the first public outing of my new microphone, by the way.
Oh.
Whoa,
new audio
shush,
setup.
shush me.
I finally abandoned USB mics.
I'm
did
still
you?
on one.
What?
You finally left the USB mic realm.
Yeah. I'm now using. Yeah.
I don't see you in the chat, actually.
Has it still not come up?
Oh, dear.
Oh, that's crazy.
Do you want me to post for you?
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
Okay.
This is
Sorry.
the best outro ever.
Jeez. hey, at least
Go-
it matches the intro.
Yes.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, basically,
Okay,
just
so-
go to BMask and also go to Splatcade.
There, that's B-Mask's
and
thingy.
if you
the first one.
if you hated this stream, don't forget to smash that unsubscribe button. Give it a thumbs down. Block me on Twitter.
Oh wait, hold on, Nick.
Report it for
Do you have
spam.
it so no one can
What?
post links in your? Do you have it
Oh,
set so no one can post links in your thing? Is that what it is? Because I just posted
well,
with
I'm
my
gonna
thing.
I'm gonna
and
have
nothing
to
came
go.
through.
Oh dear.
All right, well,
Never mind.
B-Space Mask is B-Mask, And
yeah.
and then my thing is Splatcade. Pretty easy to find. Just type that in. You'll find stuff.
Yeah, whatever. Just manually search for my friends.
He's so tired of life.
Oh, I didn't plan on having a fucking cold today.
No.
I don't think anyone ever plans on getting a cold.
No. Oh dear.
I don't know. Some days I'm like, I can't be asked with this work shit. Bring on that cold. It's time.
Just give yourself a cold on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I better hit this stop streaming button.
All right.
So
Bye,
everybody. Oh, no.
Bye, chat.
Bye everyone.